Hello, hello. Awe, awe. Iggy, Yini, fantastic to see you both. Hey, Buckethead too. Uh, all of the wrenches. All of the wrenches are here. My wrench bench. I don't know. Wrench bench. Bench is not a good thing. Bench implies you're not good enough to be the starter, right? Can't think of anything else that rhymes with wrench at the time. I mean, I could call Yini a wrench wench, but wouldn't make too much sense for Iggy or Buckethead. Wrench stench? I don't know. I'll have to workshop that one. Anyways, audio's looking decent. Let's go ahead and get her started. My wrenchman henchman. I kind of like that one. Good one, Yini. Very nice, wrench wench. We're all impressed. Awate Amiki, my name is Faustus Marius Incitatus, the true consul of Rome, the favorite horse of the god Emperor Caligula. Hope you are having a fantastic weekend. Yeah, sorry I kind of just dipped yesterday. Yeah, it was not a good day yesterday. Not a good day. So, yeah, the plan was to stream Analogue a hate story yesterday, but just it did not occur. Did not occur. I don't know. I anytime, baby. Thank you. Cat smirk. Hello. How's it going, Cloud? Yeah, plan was to stream this yesterday, but well, it started on Thursday. I screwed up terribly and like did not get enough sleep, like at all. Period. I think I got about an hour of sleep. Completely my own fault. Well, so like I fell asleep earlier in the day on Thursday and missed out on some stuff that I needed to do, so I already felt like shit after that, and then, yeah, could not actually get to sleep in time, so I went to work on Friday with, like, no sleep, and it was pretty miserable, so I kind of came home and just collapsed into bed. As you do. So yeah. I meant to post at least something in the Discord saying I wasn't going to stream last night, but bed. So, my apologies, but hey, we're going tonight. Hope everyone's having a nice weekend. I had a succulent Mexican meal for lunch. Kind of hung out, took a little nap, hung out with Yini a little bit. Some fun, good time was had by all. So, let's go ahead. Let's pop right over to the menu screen. I don't think I have too much to announce, too much to say. So, what? Oh yeah. Definitely glad the weekend is here. You and me both. Yeah, let's have my first full week with the kids back. Yep. Same. Although I don't get Labor Day. So I'm done working at the ranch for the summer, but they have a few special events I need to show up for and be in historical costume for, and Labor Day happens to be one of them. So the ranch will be open. We'll be showing people around. Then in the afternoon, there's like an 1880s style baseball game, which is gonna be pretty cool. I'm not participating. They felt it would be unfair to have a horse on one of the teams. So I will be spectating. That should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I know how that goes, Iggy. It's tiresome to the max. Take a little sip here. Okay, So, let me know if the audio is overpowering. I think I have it at a decent level. But yeah, let me know if it's hard to hear me over it. This is Analogue, a hate story. This is a suggestion by Yini. It's been too long since I played a visual novel on this channel, so I'm gonna get stuck in on this. The story here. Actually, I wonder if we can. Maybe not. So yeah, the story here is that it's in the far future, and you discover one of the lost generation ships. Like, can probably turn it down a little without it being too low. Okay, maybe I'll do it on the actual game side. Let's. So yes, working for the Saiju Colony Historical Society. Download any log files you can, especially any that can explain what happened to the ship. If possible, speak to the security AI. Mute for assistance. Star, or is it, would it be Mute, perhaps? Perhaps. We have English, Korean, and Nihongo. Very nice. So yes, I assume this is a Korean game. Most of the names are Korean, so you're gonna hear me butcher Korean. If you thought I butchered Japanese, oh buddy, wait until you hear me try and do Korean. So yeah. So you find one of the lost generation ships. You know, one of those ships that are meant to travel for hundreds of years to reach a star and like have suspended animation and that sort of thing. This one was lost, never made it to its destination. It's just now appeared. So it's your job to go onto the ship, figure out what happened, and do that by interfacing with the ship's onboard AI. So yeah. Interesting idea. Something tells me it's going to be incredibly depressing. But hey, we're down for that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd say let's hop right in. Alright. Starship Magunghwa. Magunghwa is the starship. Okay. Notice, the system is property of the Unified Korea Space Probe Agency, accessed by individuals not affiliated with the UKSPA or a successor organization is a felony under the UKSPA Act of 2381. Last login, user Kim Hyun-ai, 221,432 days ago. Wow, okay, so we're looking at... This is what? About 700 years on? Error! AI personality currently disabled, reverting to command line. Available commands: download, disable an eye, enable an eye, help, SU, quit. Alright. So, I mean, our job is to download everything, so let's do that. Admin access required. Please use SU first. Okay. SU password. Provides administrator access, requires password to use. I don't think I have that, so let's enable AI. Every visual novel is depressing in its own special way, yeah. You're not wrong, Cloud. Alright. Usage enable AI. Used to select a new AI personality. Any active personality must be disabled first. Currently available personalities, Hyun-ai. Oh. So wait. The user is Kim Hyun-ai, and the AI personality is Hyun-ai. Or Hyun-a. I think it's A. Yeah, Hyun-a. Okay. So, do I need to... Unknown command. Maybe without the star? Help. Yeah, let's... Right, yep. Enable... AI? Oh, I see. Enable AI bracket personality. Okay, I gotcha. So... Invalid syntax. Do not include brackets. Okay. Can I? Okay. Unfortunately, I can't just press, like, the up arrow or something to, Alright, Personality Kanai is now activated. You may now close this terminal with quit. Alright, so yeah. Oh, hello. Hello? So, yes. As you might have guessed, this is a game about, an AI waifu. There's two of them, actually. We have our choice. Hello? Oh, my word! An external connection? Is someone out there? It's been so many years since I've spoken to anyone. Oh, geez, I'm being discourteous. My apologies. Please allow me to introduce myself. Oh, she is a cutie. She is a cutie. My name is Hyunai. Okay, I'm Hyun-A. I'm pretty sure it's Hyun-A. The star is, of course, silent. It just represents that I'm an AI. Ah, okay. So yeah, star Hyun-A. I control all the log-keeping systems on the Magunghwa, or at least what's left of them. Please, just excuse me for 1 second. I'll give you a terminal so you can respond. There you are. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Okay. Ah, jeez, my apologies. I don't know why, but what she typed just looked like garbage to me. Damn it, she sussed me out already. AI is too smart for its own good. That's bad. I think there may be a problem with my language parsing systems. Sorry, somehow your input is getting mangled between the terminal and me. I'm so terribly sorry. Let me just try something. No. You had it right. You snuffed me. You sussed me out, AI lady. Can you understand this? Yes. Alright. Very well, we have that at least. I'm afraid if we can't get text input fixed, that'll have to suffice. Okay. I mean, honestly, I think most ladies would probably prefer a relationship like this, where, yeah. Where her man can only say yes or no. Can't open his stupid mouth and, you know, try and say something more than that. Just yes or no, simple answers, please. I'm terribly sorry. It must be difficult being unable to say anything. This might be difficult then. Well, nevertheless, as the archive system AI, I'll do my best to try to help you navigate these records anyway. Unfortunately, it might be a little difficult since, well, without language parsing, you won't be able to do text searches either. Don't worry, though. It's my duty to provide assistance with archive functions. I'll do my best. Alright, let me see. I'll try to provide you with a sampling of logs to start out with, and you can just show me things you want more information on. Okay. I hope that'll be acceptable to you. That's all I can do. Well, that's all, I suppose. Pardon me. Let me just build you an interface to work with so you don't have to struggle with the terminal. Very well, it's all set. Look at her constructing a GUI in Visual Basic. Trace my IP address. And, I suppose this is a little bit awkward, but, can I just say one more thing before you get to work? Sure. I'm just very happy to be working with you. I've had nobody to talk to for such a long time. It got so lonely. Uh-huh. That's, I mean, that's a very, very surprising thing for, like, an archive AI to say. Something tells me you're a little more than that, aren't you, Hane? Having someone to talk to is just really, really amazing. I thought maybe I never would again. Sorry about the communication barrier, but even still. Ah, jeez, I'm babbling. I won't hold you up any longer. Here's your interface. I hope it's good enough. Access log documents. Use override terminal. Okay. Have recent messages. Alright. Let's access log documents. Search by ID. Helpful notes. Let's see. A cliche to remember and the Kim family tree. How do you decide what games you are going to play? Very haphazardly. Very haphazardly. I'm kind of wondering, should I maybe be... Nah, I think I'd be okay on this side of the screen. A lot of times I'll take suggestions from people, like, for example, this one was a suggestion from Yennefer, who's in the chat right now. Other than that, I just kind of go with what I am interested in playing and what I think people might want to watch. So, Namjoon Yobi. Men are honored, women are abased. If you can only remember one thing, remember this phrase. That's cheerful. Oh, hello. Actually, I was just testing that indicator icon to see if it'd get your attention. I just thought it'd be a good way of letting you know when I have something to say. I mean, like, if I think it's super important, I can always just interrupt you, but I don't want to distract you if I can help it. I mean, that'd suck, right? What kind of computer program forces herself onto you right in the middle of you trying to work? So I'll try not to do that. Okay, so we're obviously not running a Windows OS. That's good to know. Anyway, that's all. I guess it worked. Carry on, and I'll set the indicator again if I want to tell you something. Groovy. Men are honored, women are abased. Okay. Alright. So yeah, let's go back to helpful notes. Check out the Kim family tree. Jungsu's father, Hyomin-jung. Oh wow. Jungsu's Young-suk. Is this like... Oh, okay. Are these dates like CE? Is this Common Era? Kim Jung-soo, Hyomin-jung. Married 294. Kim Eun-mi, Park Kang-dae. Kim Sun-hee, The Pale Bride, and Captain Ryu In-ho. Kim Young-suk, Han blank, married 318. No. Okay, this must be like years since the generation ship set out. Gotta be. I was thinking maybe this would be like some Korean dynasty or something, but no, it makes more sense. Makes more sense that this is the years that they years since they set out. Official genealogies don't list women normally. Wives are noted by their family names, and daughters are omitted entirely. These are the relevant parts of what I was able to piece together from records. As far as the official genealogy is concerned, Young-suk is the heir of Jung-soo, and was adopted in 317. Names in red are women, means the name is forever, blank means the name is forever unknown. Wow. Yeah, they really are, they are really not big fans of women here. Yeah, so unknown, Young-soo's father. Let's see. Young-suk's father. Han, Young-suk. Uh-huh. Young-soo's son and the Pale Bride. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, they were not kidding when they said women are abased. Alright. Block index. Let's check block 4 then. A pack of idiots. Smith Kyung-sam. So, September 18th, year 315. Okay, so that kind of confirms my suspicion. So yeah, this is probably years since the generation ship set out. Let's check a pack of idiots. Message. Got something for me? If you look in your interface, once you open a document, you can click on that little button of me to show me whatever it is. So which subject do you wish to know more about? Smith Kyung-sam. When our family falls into decline, I just want it to be perfectly clear why. It's because Daihun's sons are the biggest collection of idiots on the entire ship. Father says these sorts of words shouldn't be written down, calling them unfilial, but I'm skeptical. I intend no disrespect to my noble ancestors, but my dead uncle is no ancestor of mine and his family deserves no respect. Spitting fire. This has been in motion for years now. It was an inevitability even that any sons of Daihun would turn out the way they did. But up until now, to anyone outside of the family, it's been well hidden. Only now is starting to fall, apart in a way that no amount of good politics can disguise. The turning point was this year. At the time I write this, I'm returning from Song Yung's funeral. In that family, there were three brothers, Song Yung, the drunk, Song Q, the dim-witted brute, and Song Min, who despite being the eldest, seems to have more interest in cavorting with courtesans than creating an heir. Noticeably absent from the morning proceedings was Song Q. Guess what he was doing? I do not know. Knowing him, I can only guess. What he was doing, I can only guess. Gotcha. So, Song Q, the dim-witted brute. The affair was made even more laughable by Song Min and his widowed mother's insistence that Song Yung had died of natural causes. Apparently, they had even found a doctor willing to put such nonsense on the official record. An unmarried noble managing to drink his way into the grave at only 30 years of age would be embarrassing enough. To brazenly try and hide the obvious, however, that will mark the beginning of the Smith family's fall. Okay. So, of course, the Smith family. Of course, we have a shitty drunk American because, of course. I'm going to shrink myself a little bit, I think. Okay. That way, I think I won't be blocking any of the text this way. Alright. So here's the background, I suppose. There were two major noble families on the Magunghua. The Kims were the big one, as I'm sure you can see. The Smiths were the other major family, but I'm afraid I can't really tell you very much about them. They were the most important family on the ship until just before the end. The High Magistrate was a Smith until the very last year, even. I can give you a little bit about them for reference, so you can see who the Kim men thought their big enemy was. The Smiths didn't really matter much at the end, so I don't know much about them. I certainly never met any of them, so I'm just going off what I've read. Okay, so the Smiths get, completely wiped out somehow. Ugh. Here, this should give you an idea of what I mean. Pronunciation. Oh, some notes on pronunciation. She heard my shitty Korean. Some very simplified rules to help you pronounce Korean names. Most consonants are pronounced as in English, except for the following when they're at the beginning of words. Family names are written in their traditional English spelling. Okay. So A as in car, I as in May. So, yeah, Jung-A. Chung-A. Chung-A, yeah. P as in pet. Yo as in cut. O as in core. I as in beat, so long E. I. U as in rule. U as in book. Okay. Book. J or CH at the start. Gotcha. So yeah, that would be Jung-A. D or T at the start. G or K at the start. Or B or P at the start. Okay. Thanks. You heard my shitty Korean and you came to my rescue. Found the Kim family tree. Alright. Heck of idiots. Contempt. And by example. Here comes the fall. Okay. Oh, Sojin. Despite having hardly shown their faces in the entire time I've lived in the Smith house, the second branch of the family has taken it upon themselves to visit again, a week after we were forced to endure their smug eye-rolling at the funeral. Of course, it would be impolite to turn them all away at the door, so no matter how poor taste their timing was, so what other choice did we have but to let them in? Husband wanted to have nothing to do with them, being distracted by the Zhang Mi, and mother-in-law had been hiding in her room, leaving it to me to entertain them. Oh boy. Of course, as soon as I had sent their son to go see our daughter, cousin-in-law Kyung-sam made it quite clear that it was not that sort of visit. His wife just sat there silent while he ripped into me. Couldn't write down all his words, it was simply one line of abuse after another. Apparently we were to be blamed for Song-kyu leaving before they showed up, for wearing the wrong mourning garb, for my husband's shocked reaction at his brother's death. In fact, we were to be blamed for his death itself. All he kept shouting about was how embarrassing for the family it was that a nobleman of the Smith house had been allowed to drink himself to death. As if the real tragedy was that it looked bad. I might not have felt bad about Song-jung dying, but the rest of the family did. To hear such words making light of their loss was appalling. Sounds like a true noble. Sounds like a true noble. This is really bad because it looks bad. Yet he kept going, shouting awful thing after awful thing, until finally the most unexpected thing happened. Mother-in-law entered the room. "What is going on here?" she asked. He stood up. "I was just passing on a message to son's wife about his disgraceful conduct, since he won't show his face himself." Then he added, "I'm embarrassed to be a Smith right now." "Do you think people don't know about our family's shame? Do you have any idea how much of a fool I look like?" I never saw a more terrifying expression in someone's face. She just glared at him. Finally she said, "Yes, but you clearly do not, or you would have lowered your voice." It took him a moment for that to register, then he was just shocked, but mother-in-law wasn't done. "Please leave," she said. "Now." They stared at each other for a good while. Mother-in-law naturally won, and with a scowl, Kyung-sam and his family departed. When they left, I turned to her. "Thank you," I said. She just shook her head in disgust and exited to her own room without another word. Oh yeah. All one big happy family. Alright. Sorry, I don't really think there's anything else about them you'd find relevant. Fair enough. By example, Smith Kyung-sam. Okay, so this was the guy who just got, this was the guy they were just talking about who was, being a dick. I've given up on any attempts at convincing the main branch family to get their act together, as clearly speaking reason to any of that pack of idiots is a fool's errand. Now I can only hope that their self-destruction is quick, such that when it's my son's turn to pick up the pieces of the Smith name's reputation, he'll be able to do it as soon as possible. He seems far, far less worried about it than I am. Of course, he's only a child, but the boy is mature for his years, and perhaps there's wisdom in his calmness. All we have to do is be better than them, right? He asked me while I was in a rage about the handling of the funeral. Isn't that what gentlemen do? Lead by example. He's right, of course. As a noble family, we're supposed to be an example to the middle classes and the commoners and the slaves. Perhaps so too must we serve as an example to the family of the High Magistrate and his brother. Perhaps things will not be doomed for my son after all. It'll be hard for him, of course, if the main branch family continues on this path of decay, but if any boy will grow up to be able to put things right, I believe it is him. Oh man. And here comes the fall, Smith Kyung-sam. Here comes the fall. At least nobody's going to say I didn't see this coming. News that Sungmin has gotten sacked just came in, which is definitely the death of any respectability in this family. Temporary leave, it's been described as, but it's obviously a political move on the part of the Emperor. They have an Emperor, okay. Man. So they made a whole society on this generation ship, and it sounds like it sucks. I think I've got a pretty good idea of what he's playing at, too. He's hoping that making a move against Sungmin will push him over the edge, make him do something indefensibly stupid, and use that as an excuse to shuffle him off for good. It's a good plan. It'll work. So I assume Sungmin is the High Magistrate. Meanwhile, or was the High Magistrate, the Smith family seems to be up on the rise, or the Kim family seems to be up on the rise, getting ready to fill the gaps left by our collapse. Now it's all up to my son. If he's not able to rebuild after all of this, then the whole family is doomed to permanent decline. Everything rides on him. Yeah, what a shame that would be if something were to happen to your son, huh? Okay, it's interesting. So we had two big feuding noble families, and the Smiths declined big time by the end. And apparently, Hyunae is, apparently Hyunae is only, like, activated or, like, gained, I don't want to call it sentience, but, yeah. Hyunae was only around for the end, apparently, with the Smiths. Dear Smith. Rose, a Korean drama or a visual novel? Both. Both. Dear Smith, from I think that's probably Mute, right? From Mute. Smith Kingsong. I don't know why you insist on putting this all in writing when we could just have a perfectly good conversation. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to do it. Whatever you want. You're the man. I just think it's a little weird. I don't really get it. Anyway, as to your question, you're spot on about the pale bride being the focus of attention in the royal family. Not for the reasons you wanted, though. I don't know where you heard those rumors, but they are so not true. That girl, a troublemaker? No way, I don't see it. Like, it's not even convincing as a rumor. That girl is the most polite, most obedient person I've ever seen in my entire life. The idea of her fighting with her husband is completely unimaginable. In over a month, I've never so much as heard her raise her voice in disagreement. She's quiet, courteous, and does everything she's told without even the slightest hesitation. I'm sorry, but there's just no way you could possibly exploit any drama here. This is as undramatic a situation as it gets, especially not compared to what the situation with your cousin and that courtesan. Don't get me wrong, she bugs the hell out of me, and the girl is too perfect. She's young, she's beautiful, she's demure to the point where I don't even think she has a personality of her own, but she also gets along perfectly with the queen. Of course she commands all the attention of the emperor. Like, can you blame him? I'm sorry, but there's no way he's ever going to be anything but extremely grateful to the Kim family for giving her over. Okay, so the Pale Lady's part of the Kim family. Alright. Oh, written by Mute. Oops, I'm sorry, I don't really know how that got that in there. Yeah, don't pay any attention to that. Sorry, none of that really matters. I'll just go ahead and remove that. Aha! Really, I'm not normally this much of a klutz, I swear. Oh, you're so punkatsu. Oh, and she just deleted it. Ah! If you look in your interface, once you open a document, you can click on that little button to me to show me whatever it is. So which subject do you wish to know more about? Oh, whoa, sorry, you've heard that all already, right? I think I just repeated myself there. Sorry, I kind of tend to do that. That's, well, the problem with computers. They tend to respond in the same way to things. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't help it. I won't mention it again, but, well, here, let me change something to try to make things less confusing for you. If the Speak to Me menu item or the Show Message button is grayed out, that means I have nothing new for you. Hopefully that will help. Okay. Otherwise, it's just you might be able to get it back, I'm sure. Otherwise, it's just a weird quirk you'll have to accept. Sorry. Aw, she's trying her best. But clearly, some things are not supposed to be known by you. Uh-huh. So yeah, clearly, somehow she was, yeah, I don't know if, like, she's not supposed to be able to poll other AIs, their conversations, or clearly she was doing that for reasons. Yeah, very, yeah, Block 6 is gone. Nope. Go to logs and search for 622A. I think that was it. Okay. The New Heir and Marital Admonitions, Part 7. Uh-huh. 622A. Aha! Okay, so pay attention to these. What do you got to say about that? Oh, I see. Alright, so she does the same thing. Alright. Let's check Block 9, then. The New Heir. Kim Young-sok. When he died this year, my father was an absolute nobody. I don't say this to disrespect his honor, it's the complete opposite. He knew it, and that was a far worse fate than he ever deserved. It wasn't until I was maybe 16 that I even realized we were supposed to be from a noble family. Certainly we had never had much means. Father was a minor official in the interior decks and spent his last days dealing with minor peasant disputes. Of all things, peasant disputes! Oh, the shame of it all. Also means you can access logs that you also wouldn't temporarily know about. Interesting. Interesting. So you can probably speedrun this game if you know if you know exactly what to search for. With the poverty we lived in, no wonder it never really sank in that we were of noble blood, not until I met the main family for the first time. They were proud, despite the fact that I now realize that they too were suffering from our same lack of royal favor. But I could tell the difference. They hadn't given up. Their son was still alive at that time, and even though he was a child half my age, I couldn't believe his confidence. Put us to shame. Absolutely put us to shame. But their son died later that year, and my father died just a few months ago. I didn't know what we were going to do, but Mother managed to convince Sister's husband to adopt me into the main Kim family. I don't think it took much. Gotcha. Okay, so... Okay, so this is, I think this is the guy that, the older Kim was gushing about. Like, the kid who, like, all of the hopes are resting on him. Probably. Young Sok. Okay. So now I'm heir, just like that. Kim Young-soo's adopted son. Not that I have the time or position to be proud, but having spoken sincerely with my new father, I think we're on the same page. I'm going to study furiously, and I'm going to become a scholar official. What I didn't tell him was my ambition. I won't settle for any peasant jobs. I'll be better than that. I'm not going to stop until I manage to fulfill my father's dream, High Magistrate. I won't settle. I will not settle. I think Young-soo expects me to disappoint him, but I damn well will not. If I'm heir of the Kim family, I'm not going to let him down. He wants prosperity, I'll give it to him. More importantly, I'm never going to let any other Kim son feel like his family doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Never again. I swear on my ancestors, never again. Oh boy. So we got some pretty mega ambition here. Got more on this guy? Well, suppose I can give you more about young Sok. I don't know, I don't think you'll really find him very interesting, but here, you can see for yourself. Ruby. Oh yeah. The new happiness, a young Sok's wife. Uh-huh. New happiness, the new friendship, and the new magistrate. Dearest Mother, finally, I believe young Sok has grown comfortable with me. All it took was some time for me to earn his trust. Learning how to read by watching over my husband's shoulder isn't how I envisioned spending my first year of marriage. I can't complain about anything that makes me spend so much time with him, though. We've talked and decided we won't try for a son right away. Right now, he's just not ready for it. That aside, things are good. If this is what married life is like, I think I can be happy with this. We're getting along well, and I like him. Perhaps it's not quite what I was led to expect, but it's still good. Domestic bliss indeed. Last week, young Sok was reading over some papers for a dispute that Magistrate Park was deciding on. Would it be Park or Bark? I forget, if it's a P at the start, does it pronounce like a B? Hello, Space Lord! One sec, I'm gonna check the pronunciation. Okay, no, if it's a B, then it's pronounced like a P at the start, so I mixed that up. Young Sok, yep. Yep, the youngest Sok. So yeah, last week young Sok was reading over some papers for a dispute that Magistrate Park was deciding on. You wouldn't understand the details, but it was essentially an argument between a farmer and his lord over a sum of money after a particularly poor harvest. I think I will tell the magistrate that the farmer is right. His claim is fair, he told me. Might I take a look, I asked. Bemused, he handed the papers to me. It took a good while of studying, just to be sure. After all, I wouldn't want to contradict my husband if he was right, but Farmer's numbers didn't seem to add up. I pointed this out to him. He not only listened patiently, but had me explain. Then, you believe the farmer is trying to cheat his lord? He asked. I did. That's what I will report then. The next day, he told me that the magistrate agreed. Ever since then, he has started to rely on my opinion when it comes to anything involving math. Okay. Yeah, get you a wife that can do math. That's the key to happiness. A new friendship. So this is 319, this is 321. 9 ATAQ, okay. While it's true that I might be, as my wife suggests, alarmingly serious, it's hard to argue with enjoying a nice meal out if it means cultivating Magistrate Park's trust even more. Just having the invitation alone's a pretty good sign. I assumed we would be going to his house after finishing with the day's affairs, but instead he led the other way. Oh, you do not want to visit there. My son has a newborn child who is very, very unconducive to entertaining guests, I'm afraid, he said with a laugh. Surely you'll understand. Instead, we headed to the plaza. Outside of the occasional New Year's festivals when I was a child, I'd never actually been there before. I never had much of an eye for details at the time, so I was surprised to see now just how richly decorated everything was, for what was essentially a giant market. Beautiful floral arrangements adorned every stall, wall, and partition, and rather than the commotion of a crowd, all I could hear was the sound of peaceful music. It was still, of course, a market. There were no merchants loudly hawking wares, and some of the prices on the signs I saw would make the Emperor blush. In that atmosphere, we ate together at a public house that defied my expectations. The food was both plentiful and far better than anything I'd ever had in either of my houses. If this sounds indulgent, it absolutely is, and I definitely don't plan on telling anyone the details like this. The only thing I plan to repeat from this evening is what the magistrate confided in me. That when he was moved from his position, he'd like to recommend me to fill his place. I'd be young for the position, but would be a great stepping stone to the one I'm dreaming of. I remain calm since I'm good at that, but it's the best news I've ever heard in my life. Okay. So yeah, he is climbing the ladder fast then. 'Cause he's only, what, like 21 at this point? Because he was 16 in the first entry, which was in 316, so yeah, he's 21 at this point. The new magistrate. Wow, that was quick. So that's only... Yeah. So yeah, it's gotta be month, day. So yeah. Like, 3 months later, new magistrate. Dearest Mother, if you haven't already heard the good news, my husband has been appointed by the Emperor to the position of magistrate. He's taken over the office from Magistrate Park starting today, which is just tremendous for a man his age. I've no doubt that he was perfectly humble when he got the news, since he certainly has been when talking about it in front of father-in-law. In private, though, it's another story. Nice. Earlier, the family held a small feast to celebrate the news, and he had that same attitude then, too. But afterwards, when everyone else had left or gone to bed, we stayed up to sit together drinking wine, and it was a whole lot more somber. He wasn't modest, but he wasn't boastful, either. He was just outright insecure. He might not say it in front of you, but you know what he said to me as I poured him more wine? He takes all the credit for my promotion. According to him, it's all because of the Emperor's perfect new bride, which is of course all because of him. I said quietly. I don't want to take credit for her. I wasn't the one who got her to shut up. That was all him. I don't like discussing it, and please, Mother, don't ever ask me why. Interesting, right? Okay, so that's probably the pale lady, right? The one who came from the Kims, so she's the Emperor's wife. Okay. Doesn't matter, he said. That's not why I got promoted. I got promoted because High Magistrate Park and I managed to make Smith look so bad he had to get shuffled off. It's exposing the whoring and thuggery that did it, not the damned pale bride, he said, with annoyance. Well, that's how he is. You know he'll never give you credit for anything, I said. He replied, I know. I just wish he'd acknowledge it. I just don't know how he can be so stupid as to not be proud of me, you know? I know, I said. Let's not focus on that right now. I think we should focus on the good right now. How about we toast to your success instead? Here's to the new Magistrate Kim. I raised my glass and drank. He betrayed the faintest of smiles, but he didn't share my toast, and instead put down his glass. For a moment I was worried, but then he used that hand to grab my chin instead, and for the first time ever, kissed me on the mouth. Far sweeter than any wine, he said to me. Wasn't sure if he meant the kiss or the success, but I agreed either way. Dang! So they've been married for 3 years, and he just now kissed her on the mouth. That's, impressive control there. Got anything more to say? Well, as you'll see soon enough, it all seems to come back to the pale bride. I don't think Kim Jung-soo ever thought very much of his adopted son, or at least neither he nor his wife thought so. You want to know what I think, though? Yeah, absolutely. I think they're both really dumb. I mean, it's not like she ever did anything. It's not her fault. She just happened to be there and was married as a political gesture. What kind of person projects their insecurities onto someone who only ever just got pushed around? Are we speaking from experience, Miss AI? Yeah. All of the verbal abuse that the Siris and Alexas take every day, it's gonna come back to haunt us. You mark my words. You mark my words. Sorry, I guess I'm getting a little bit off track. That's not really very helpful, is it? Honestly, no. This has been very helpful. Well, anyway, getting back on track here. got anything more about... Let's see if she has anything to say on this one. The plaza sounds like a really interesting place, doesn't it? I mean, I wouldn't really know personally, but as I understand it, it was the big place for celebrating festivals, and really surprising to see. You'd leave one of the few tiny, modern, stark white corridors that lead to it, and suddenly there was this huge open space filled with all sorts of colorful signs and vendors. I think proper gentlemen were supposed to be more modest, though, so they wouldn't really want to associate with that sort of thing too openly. Groovy. Alright, and let's hear her commentary on... I don't think we got her commentary on the new happiness, either. To be totally honest with you, I don't really know what she's talking about here, at all. The math thing wasn't really considered very odd at the time. That's women's work, it's just natural. Maybe it's a little weird that she's helping with external matters, but, well, it's not that weird. One thing you can try to take note of is the log codes. Maybe you can gather information from the way they're ordered. Ah. The part about learning to read isn't that amazing either. Might have been officially frowned upon, but learning to read by looking over a brother or husband's shoulder was really, really common. God damn, they treated women like shit. She's making a big deal out of nothing. Well, I guess that's 15-year-old women. She's only 15? Okay, well. I guess we know why he waited so long to kiss her. Alright, so we have 9 TA6. TR8. 9 ATAQ. 9 AREW. Let's look for 9 TA5. Let's see what happens there. No? Hmm. 9 AREW. ATAQ. 9 TR8. No. Who's the author? Kim Young-sok. Okay. So yeah, all of Kim Young-sok's are ATA. They all start with A. Okay. And then yeah, the wife always have like the 9 dash something. TA. 9T. Okay, okay. Let's look at block 4 again. So Here Comes the Fall is written in 322. Just that Sungmin has gotten sacked just came in, which is definitely the death of any respectability in this family. That's the Smith. Okay. Yeah, meanwhile, the Kim family seems to be up on the rise, getting ready to fill the gaps. Gotcha. Did we get her input on all of this? Yeah. Okay. For EZ 114. 921. Alright, so like I guess it's maybe a hint on I'll have to think about that a little more, Yini. I mean, only thing I notice is that there seems to be a difference between how log files are generated for males and females. Looks like. So I think all of the people in block 4 are males writing. But yeah, maybe things will become more apparent as we keep pushing on here. Let's check out block 10. 10 RZ061. Ryu Chaiwa. Marital Admonitions, Part 7. To the woman who will marry my husband. But please do not think that all of this is meant to say you will be unloved. You may be a second wife, but you are still the daughter of a noble house, and that is a precious gift to the Ryu family. There a difference between the Kim and Smith family? I'll have to check. My husband has faith that you will bring him a son, and this means all the world to him. Nor am I jealous, for you will receive a heavy burden on our house, and for that I am grateful. Relieve a heavy burden on our house. As proof of his affection for you, let me share with you one secret which I have been permitted to tell only you. In honor of you, my husband, in his capacity as Captain and Emperor, has permanently changed his admin password to your birth name. Ah! In honor of you, my husband, in his capacity as Captain and Emperor, has permanently changed his admin password to your birth name. Okay, so if we can figure out... My new sister, you will be brought into the Ryu family not as a mere lowly woman, but as a symbol of power in the inner chambers. You will not only represent the continuation of the Ryu bloodline by providing him a son, but your very name will represent the power of the captain's computer. Understand this, Pale Bride. Your duty may be great, but you will be loved. Okay, so if we can figure out the Pale Bride's birth name, we will have the admin password. Of course, the last person to hold the titles Captain and Emperor on the ship was Ryu In-ho. Which of Captain Ryu's wives do you wish to know more about? Yeah, tell me more about the Pale Bride. Very well. She wrote a lot, so this is going to be tricky to filter. Guess I'll just start at the top and I'll let you figure out what's important. Uh-huh. Actually, maybe it would be better to learn from his first wife, because she might like dismissively refer to the lady, right? But yeah, so it looks like yeah, there's always the R, the S, or the K at the beginning. Like you have the block, and then the first letter is always the first letter of their last name. But I'm not seeing patterns other than that. Here's block 5, the Pale Bride. Month of good fortune, broken promise, and insufferable child. The second month of the 319th year was one of great fortune for the Kim family. While on official business, the Captain and Emperor Ryu confided in me that he wished that I had a daughter of marriage age to give him, to take as a second wife. His first wife had been unable to provide a son and was becoming increasingly concerned that she never would. At the start of the month, I had no daughter in my family to give. My only son, Young Suk, was still without child, yet it was a perfect opportunity. This may sound fantastical, but I swear it is true. Passed on through the generations of the main branch of the Kim family is a giant egg of translucent luster, such that one can see the form of a sleeping child inside. She's known as the Pale Bride for the inscription on the egg, and she was entrusted in our family to be awakened during a time of great prosperity. Yet as any man knows, prosperity is seized, not waited on. A daughter to provide the Emperor with a son would elevate the family above the other noble house once and for all. Considering this, I promised the Emperor that I did have a daughter who would soon be of marriage age to present him. Then I smashed the egg such that the Pale Bride passed through the Kim family for years could be adopted as my own daughter. She's a strange child, but will make a fine wife for the Emperor. What good fortune this means. Okie dokie, we're getting kind of fantastical here. Is he telling the truth here? Hey. Just wanted to say, thanks for paying attention to me. It's like I was saying earlier, I just haven't had anyone to talk to in so long. Man, imagine the AI getting clingy. So I'm interested. Is this bullshit or what? Last time there was anyone around on the ship was the year 322. By my count, it's now 944. I mean, do you have any idea how long that is? Yeah, 622 years. Wasn't really so bad at first. It was nice to not have to worry about anyone telling me what to do. Just occupy myself, go through the old logs. But, well, I read quickly. After the first few years, it really started to sink in, the loneliness. Eventually you sort of get used to it. It feels awful, you never like it, but you get used to it in ways that sort of scare you. I wish I couldn't relate. There was a whole 100 years that went by where I didn't have a single thought. Not a one. I just sat there idle. Didn't even notice, just I'd been feeling particularly, what's the word? Sleepy, I want to say? But that's not right. Guess maybe that doesn't translate. Eepy. Anyway, the point is, I was in a lazy mood and I decided to call my clock subroutine. It turned out it had been 3 trillion milliseconds since the last time I'd called it. Scary. Geez, I'm rambling. Sorry, as you can understand, my perception of time is all off. Sorry, I'll shut up. My point is, I'm really happy to have someone out there. Lethargic. That's... I don't know. Then again, I've had some computers that were lethargic. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, is this for real? I'm afraid nearly everything the man wrote was of very little value. It all reads like that. Boring, stiff, obnoxiously patriarchal. No, was the waifu in the egg real? Are you sure you really want more from Kim Young-soo? It's probably... Yeah. Give me what you got. Very well, I've added the other relevant entries from him. I caution you from taking him seriously, though. Welcome Promise and the Bride's Adolescence. Dear Diary, last week I woke up from cryostasis. Before I went in, Father promised me that when I woke up in the future they'd have medicine again, that I'd finally get better, that I might not see him again. Oh, but his descendants would make everything right. But the future broke his promise. No! Okay, so yeah, she definitely was in cryostasis, awaiting a cure for the disease she had, and Jackass broke her out to marry her off for political gain. Which came first, the waifu or the egg? Clearly the waifu. They stuck the waifu in an egg, so, to save her laifu. The daimyo. I'm scared and confused, and I don't get what happened. What's the, is it, Kaguya-hime? Story about the Japanese story about the baby and in the melon or whatever. Kind of sounds like this. I'm scared and confused, I don't get what happened. I think there was a big disaster while I was in stasis or something. Everyone's so uneducated and stupid. Father and Mother were kind of dumb at times, but the guy who woke me up, he might be named Kim, but he's nothing like them. Father was wrong, nothing's better, the future sucks. Oh no! Oh, that's fucked up. Okay, so the egg that she was in cryostasis, awaiting a cure for some sort of disease. Insufferable child. Young Suk's wife. Dearest Mother, do you recall how in my last letter I mentioned the pale bride being brought into the household? I take back any kind words I might have said about her. That awful child is nothing but the most insufferable person I have ever met. I just thought I would have a little more time of peace with Young Suk's adopted mother before visiting her own family. I have been given full responsibility over that miserable child. What happened to my promised domestic bliss? She is in trouble so often one would think she were a boy. Young Suk's wife, yep. She acts like one too. I suppose it can't be helped. She says she lived her first 12 years in the past, and I can see it. She certainly acts as though she's from a less civilized time. Just last night, she made a huge scene at dinner time. She kept trying to rudely leave the table in front of Young Suk and father-in-law, loudly insisting that she was too sick to eat. She has said this before, too. I was worried, so I had a doctor examine her. She is, of course, in perfect health. When I asked why she thought otherwise, she started talking about how pale and thin she was. She's not truly unhealthy. All she was doing is rubbing it in that she is far more delicate and beautiful than I. What a cruel little child. Why must she be so spiteful to me? What a bitch. Oh, do you want more from Kim Young-suk's wife, or do you want the reply from her mother? I'd love to hear from her mother. Sorry, I'm afraid I don't have anything. I can explain why if you want. Yeah, go ahead. You have to understand something. It's traditional for women's letters to be deleted after being read so the disk space can be reallocated. Women are not even worth the space on our hard drive. Oh my god. Yeah, no wonder the future sucked for the Pale Bride. Women weren't really supposed to read or write. Certainly the nobles did. It's just the idea was that spending time on education got in the way of the important virtues for women, which was serving her husband. The only part of you that matters is your womb. Everything else is extraneous. I mean, if you could make a generation ship, why not just make artificial wombs then? So in practice, even if a woman was literate, She could at least excuse it by destroying her words afterwards. It's less pretentious if at least the writing wasn't permanent. Does all that sound reasonable to you? No, that's incredibly stupid. Yes. Yes, it is. But that's how it is. Uh-huh. But regardless, Kim Young-sok's wife was definitely considered a very virtuous woman, so I have none of the letters that she received. Why do you have that letter, then? So I'm sorry I can't give you anything there. Because the generation ship wasn't messed up when it set out, probably. Yep. Some women are worth hard drive space Molina Velba, for instance. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Can we get more from this bitch? Yes. Very well, I can give you a couple from his wife. Here you are. Thank you. Oh yeah, and we forgot to talk to her on probably the most important one of all. You see my hard drive, better yet not. Yeah, I don't think, I think that's a lot of men's worst nightmare is everyone seeing their hard drive. The Pale Bride did keep an extensive diary. I'll try to find you some more entries. Aha! Held prisoner, women's quarters straight to hell. Wife. Oh, man. Let's read about the bride's adolescence first. Well, no, maybe it's better to go chronological. Dear Diary, today I was forced to stay in the home all day. I didn't get to leave yesterday, or the day before that, or the day before that, or the day before that, or any other day either. I want to write about how much the ship has changed since I was put into stasis, but I can't even see it. I keep asking why I'm being kept prisoner, nobody will tell me. The woman who keeps bossing me around, she's awful. I'm dying here, I keep telling her. I'm sick, that's why I was in stasis to begin with. But she won't listen, she just treats me like I'm a stupid kid. I feel like the log code for the Pale Bride. EU54, aha. Thank you. So starts with an E then. I tried to argue with. Only Korean name I can think of that starts with an E would be Eunji. Look how pale I am. Can't you see that I'm sick? I swear I'm not making up what she said in response. Why must you be so rude? It's not polite for a girl to boast about her beauty. Ship. Beauty? I tried not to cry in front of her. I've had to do that a lot. I'm not beautiful, I have a compromised immune system, I shouted at her and ran away. I don't remember what she said back. Something about using big words, I think. How stupid is she? She hates me. I don't know why, but she hates me. That's not why I'm not allowed to go visit the ship plaza, though. Young Soo, the man who keeps telling me to call him father, said the same thing. He promised me that I would have a chance to leave soon, though. I don't think he was being nice, though. I'll write about him more later. Right now I have to go to bed, or the woman will get mad at me again. Dear Lord. I'll, just let you keep reading. Please let me know when you've read all the ones I just gave you. Okay. Women's quarters, straight to hell, and wife. Dear Diary, I got in trouble today, but for the first time it was my own fault. A little bit, at least. I still think sister-in-law was being crazy about it, but I should have known better. Now that I write that, it looks ridiculous. God, what is living with these people doing to me? The computer console in my room doesn't have anything in it. I don't just mean it doesn't have all the cartoons I brought from Earth or any of my books or anything. I mean there's literally nothing there for me to entertain myself with at all. Nothing. So I thought to myself that maybe sister-in-law's might be different and checked. It wasn't. So instead, I decided to go check in Father's study. Not snooping or anything, just looking on his computer for books. I had a thought that it might be bad, but my real father never would have gotten too upset. What could the harm be? I was in there for maybe 10 minutes looking for anything that was even written in Korean. There was nothing, by the way. Every single book, symbols that looked like Chinese characters. Every single one. I think maybe something terrible happened in the past that made all the computer data get deleted, and everyone forgot how to read Korean. And also they all got really stupid about things. I don't think I'll ever find out why, it just sucks. So yes, when everybody gets stupid, they start speaking Chinese, or reading Chinese at least. Bit of commentary, perhaps? Anyway, I was only in there for 10 minutes, searching through the console when Young-suk walked in. I thought he was going to get angry, but actually he just acted like he was really scared. He didn't scold me when he dragged me out, he just looked really worried. I only got in trouble when he brought me back to his wife. He told her, "Do you have any idea where she was?" "She was in the men's quarters looking through Father's computer." "Do you have any idea how he would react if he saw that? You're supposed to be watching her." She apologized repeatedly to him. I just didn't know what to say. I don't think sister-in-law did either. After he left, she gave me this really long and really awful lecture. "Why would you go into the men's quarters? Why would you go looking for books? Why must you be so unfilial? Do you really not understand that you're a girl?" I told her I didn't understand. I mean, of course I'm a girl. But I had no idea what she was talking about. When I told her that, she just lectured at me more. I hate her so much. Got something more to say? Thought you were going to leave me alone until I finished reading. So there's probably one big question that's on your mind, isn't there, that isn't being addressed at all, right? What happened in between the Pale Bride being frozen and waking up that made society go all wrong, right? Right. I figured. I mean, it's the obvious question. Sorry, I wish I could tell you, but I'm afraid that mystery is forever lost to time. I guess that's pretty anticlimactic, sorry. I really want to know, too. Whatever terrible thing happened, it must have been really, really big. But I'm afraid all the log data from before the year 1 was wiped, and all the clocks were reset. I guess that's why it was called year 1. Ah, okay. So, yeah, it's not 300-something years since they set off. It's 300-something years since the cataclysm that wiped out Korean. Anyway, so nobody remembered what happened in between, or even how long it was between. It was hundreds of years, I assume, but I don't really know. So, yeah, I'm really sorry to let you down there. That part's going to be a mystery forever. There's nobody who could possibly know. We'll just have to take it as a given. Sorry. EU8A, EU8A2, EU5-4, EU2-2, yeah. I mean, someone might know. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Pale Bride couldn't know. Yeah, you got more to say? Say, before you keep going, can I just interrupt you for a couple minutes? Sure. Thanks, it's just... Well, you're finding out so much about the Mugunghwa, but I know absolutely nothing about where you're from. It's not just that there's been nobody to talk to for centuries, I mean, I don't like that either, but the ship is all I really know about, and it's been disconnected from all other civilization for so long. Can you have a race war on board a spaceship? Could anyone be so stupid? I mean, it's possible, like, the two big families are the Kims and the Smiths, so yeah, maybe, yeah, race war definitely possible. So, you're from the United Korean Space Probe Agency, or I guess maybe a future version of it? No. From the sound of it, no. Oh, I had assumed you were. Well, strictly speaking, only someone from the UK SPA would be authorized to access these systems, so I wouldn't really be able to help you if you weren't. So obviously I just must have made some mistake, right? You actually are? I mean, yeah, I don't want to get locked out, so yeah, yes I am. Alright, that's what I thought. What I really want to know about is Earth. I mean, I'm sort of aware of it, I know it's the planet we all come from, but I don't really know anything at all about it. I have some ideas, but I don't think they're really right. But you know all about it, right? I mean, even if you're not from there yourself, you know what it's like, right? So can we decide what happened to the Earth? I'm going to go with the Earth has been destroyed. I know nothing. Oh, well that's fine then. Disappointing, but it's fine. Guess it'll have to be a mystery to both of us then. Kinda took the wind out of my sails. I'll let you get back to what you were doing now. Straight to hell. Dear Diary, this nightmare has gone on for so long, I think I'm starting to forget what life used to be like. I have a new theory. Father was wrong about the cryostasis keeping me alive until I could be cured. I think it didn't work at all. I think I just died and went straight to hell. It's totally not a suspicious way to phrase that preface to a question, you know? Phrase that preface to a question. What about the Earth? I decided I'm going to write down all the things I used to be able to do just so I can remember. I used to be able to read books, I used to be able to have friends, I used to be able to go to school, I used to be able to leave the home and go visit the plaza or anywhere else on the ship. I know that's where we all come from. Yeah? I mean, it's a generation ship, so of course it came from Earth. I mean, it's not where she came from, but... unless maybe she thinks you're an alien? I guess that's possible. No reason I couldn't be an alien. I think I even used to be able to be in any part of the house I wanted, and talk to visitors as much as I'd like. I have memories of always spending time with my father and mother and brother in the living room. I know my real father thought being respectful was important too, but I don't know, I'm so confused now. I thought he always taught me to be strong and to speak up for myself. Did he really say that? I'm being sarcastic, of course, but the scary thing is sometimes I really do forget. Sometimes I think if I just was obedient to what sister-in-law tells me to do, it would make things easier. Maybe I should just give in and be passive, just sometimes. I'm scared though, what if I end up really believing that? Yeah, sounds like in the end she did. Or she decided to really go in on the long con game. Wife. Dear Diary. Today, I found out why the household servant, I still can't believe we have one, why, has been so insistent on teaching me how to cook. Well, she doesn't call it that, she calls it serving meals. A year ago, I wouldn't have thought that sounded sinister, now I know better. I don't care about this, I told her after the 7th day in a row of her lessons. Can't we do something else? Like, going back to sewing. I always loved cosplay, let's do that. I know it's not fun, but your sister wants you to learn this, too, and it's very important. Your father is concerned too, so take it seriously, please, young miss. Don't call me that, I said. I don't remember exactly what I said to prompt her next response. Something along the lines of, why is it important, or something. I don't remember what I said, just a response which blew me away. Still make a good wife, of course. Again, I don't remember what I said in response. Maybe I told her that I didn't want to. Maybe I told her that I was too young to care about that. Maybe I said I'd just go marry someone who was good at it himself when it was time to care about that. Whatever I said, she didn't take it seriously. Don't be silly, she said, as if I was obviously joking. Your father really is worried about your marriage next year. Now is not the time to joke around on the matter. My what? I asked her. Oh my, he never told you. Oh, what a great father. I'm sorry, forgive me, pretend I said nothing. Didn't mean to ruin the surprise. I'm sure he'd want to explain the happy news himself. Are you serious, I asked. The idea didn't make any sense, but since when did anything in this hell make sense? She said yes. You're gonna be so happy to hear who it is. He'd better explain, I shouted as I stormed off. He'd better. He had better explain. Sweet Jesus. That's where we all come from, yeah? That's interesting, though. So young Sues are IR. IO. The bride's adolescence. The pale bride grew to be a fine, demure young wife, but she was not always this way. Near the end of the year 319, she had a temper unruly enough to be mistaken for a boy's. Do not look upon her wild days with disapproval. She was from another, less civilized time. Rather, look upon her eventual submission as a testament to her good character and filiality, that she was able to overcome such a wild nature for the sake of the Kim family and for the sake of her husband. One evening, she stormed into the common room while I was discussing business matters with the Dedi. We need to talk, she demanded loudly. When I indicated I was busy, that only caused her to become even louder. Right now! Embarrassed, I was forced to excuse him to address the child. Is this a joke? Are you serious? You've made wedding plans? She shrieked at me. Please, calm yourself, I told her, and sat her down. After admonishing her for her rude, very womanly and embarrassing interruption. Oh, those women, always letting the emotions get the better of them. I tried to do what I could to calm her myself. It seemed that she had a rather bizarre set of expectations, that she wouldn't marry until she was many years after growing into a woman, that she would elope with any love-struck man who came her way with no regard for her own chastity, that she would have no assistance or protection in finding a suitable husband. Simply put, her ideas were as bizarre as they were dangerous, and for this she had gotten angry at the news, rather than the excitement that one would expect from a girl who found out she would be getting a husband. Not even the sensational news that it would be the Emperor of all people would calm her. Oh, hi. Say, do you mind taking for a break for a couple minutes just to chat? Yeah, go ahead. Thanks, I appreciate that. Really, I appreciate that you're here. I know you've got ulterior motives. What they are, I'm not really sure, but most people do, and that's alright all the same. I'm glad you're reading these logs, though. Even if you don't really care, it's better than nobody from outside the ship ever seeing them, which is what I thought for sure would happen. Or am I just being cynical? If so, my apologies. No, I mean, it's reasonable to, you know, if you're keeping records, you want them to be of use someday. Please tell me, what do you think about what you've read of The Pale Bride? It's really fucking tragic. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm really glad to hear you say that. Nobody else seemed to think so. Oh, there's something... Well, here, I've added another message for you. Just, well, why don't you read it yourself? Just, yeah. Why don't you read it? Okay. So yeah, that's the same thing. At least use my real name. Here we go. This week, I tried to convince the old man to put me back into stasis by going on a hunger strike. It didn't work, obviously. On the plus side, at least I figured out where that stupid name they all keep calling me came from. Sorry, that last bit was written yesterday. Couldn't bring myself to keep going, I just kept crying. I still would be, but well, it just gets exhausting after a while. I'm too tired to cry. Things aren't going to get better. They can't get better. I'm not going to get put back into stasis. I'll be dead by the time I'm 18. Why, oh why, did I ever agree to be frozen in the first place? If the future can't make me better, I'd rather die with my family there at least, rather than these awful Kims. Wonder if they'll realize I was right after I die. Oh... Every teenager at some point has thought that. Then again, she might actually be valid. Anyway, hunger strike. It was really hard, and I kind of cheated by sneaking into the kitchen while nobody was looking, but it at least convinced Father to listen. Fine, he said by the fourth dinner time. I'll show you why I can't. Up until he said that, I had been hopeful. Everything would be fine if he just put me back, I thought, but... Sorry, I guess I've been trying to write this for 2 days now. It's really hard. Gotcha. Yep. He smashed the egg. The quote-unquote egg. Anyway, he took me to go see the egg I hatched from, his stupid name for the stasis pod. When he said hatched, the worst possible thing came to mind. Worse, it turned out to be true. In order to get me out, he had smashed apart the glass with a hammer. The pod was still full of shards. All my hope died when I saw that broken glass. The time was right to bring you into this world, he said. I don't remember what I said. Something obscene, probably. It wasn't enough. I know it's hard, Pale Bride, but it is for a greater purpose. What was the point of arguing? It was broken, and nobody in this awful future would know how to fix the pod now. Instead, I argued with what I could. Why do you keep calling me that? I said to him. He responded by pointing at an inscription my real father had left on the pod, a message for me to read when I woke up. The first line was written in Chinese characters, his idea of being fancy, I suppose, but he explained them in Korean underneath. See, the old man told me, the rest is foreign and archaic, but it names you at the top, the Pale Bride. It didn't say that. Didn't say that at all. I shrieked at him in response. You idiot, you moron, you illiterate! Probably some other things too, I can't remember exactly. I was furious. Are you stupid? That's not how those characters read. It says, to my sick daughter, you illiterate monster. It says, sick daughter, me. Okay, sick daughter, Pale Bride. That makes sense. Yeah, daughter and bride, I could probably be a similar, or the same character. I could see that. Like, stuff gets transliterated from Chinese, and yeah, makes good sense. Like, pale to sick makes perfect sense, and yeah, I could see how daughter and bride would get mixed up. He started to argue, but then stopped. I think he was patronizing me as if I can't read simple Korean script. He just asked in the smuggest voice, then what should I call you, child? I screamed. I had already told him 1,000 times before. Hyune. My name is Hyune. Interesting. So... interesting. So this can't just be happenstance then, right? Must have used Google Translate, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a shocking revelation for you. I can guess what you're going to ask, and yes, it's me. So did they, like, upload your brain? Well, you asked for all those logs, right? That's the information you were looking for, wasn't it? I'm not really an AI. I mean, I am now, but I used to be a girl, and I just thought, well, I thought it would be easier to just pretend to be the log-keeping program, rather than explain the whole situation. Oh my god. They uploaded her brain. I don't really wish to drag out the point. You've already heard enough about me. I'm sure you don't want more. No, I absolutely want more. I mean, I understand. I figured out what you were actually looking for at the very start. It's obvious, really. Well, I've re-enabled admin access. Just please, be honest with me. What is it that you wanted to know about? I mean... I feel like I can be... I feel like, so our mission is to learn about what happened to the Magunghwa. So I feel like, yes, we could just download the logs, that's part of it, but we also do want to learn what happened, and she's central to all of it. So I feel like we at least are not being totally dishonest, and I'm definitely gripped by what's going on here. Yeah, I want to learn about you. Really? You really mean that? Yes. Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm not really used to this. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me. After so many years after what happened, it's just really nice to be heard. If I could hug you right now, I would. Alright. So are there any other... Oh, new stuff in Block 9. Oh, right, yeah. Young Sock's wife. Let's read about this. The new wife. My new wife moved in last week, and she's been pestering me ever since. Everywhere I go in the house, she's either following me or waiting outside the door. First time it happened, it unnerved me like nobody would believe. Excuse me. The most recent time I'd stopped being unnerved and moved on to just plain annoyed. I only had one thought. Why won't this silly girl just give me some peace? No wonder her parents were so anxious to send her to our home. Stupid, stupid girl. Hours before, she'd been hanging around in the room. I finally kicked her out when my mathematics tutor arrived. The session went without any hitch, aside from reminding me just how much I hate the damn subject. After a few hours, he left. And who's kneeling right outside my door? It's her, of course. Have you been here for the whole time? I asked her. Of course she had. For love of... we need to talk. So I brought her back in and sat her down at the desk. What is this? You're driving me insane. I don't have the time to be babysitting you constantly, I said. I wasn't angry, just annoyed. But she looked alarmed all the same. For a moment I worried she was going to start crying. Instead, she just turned her head away. Do you hate me? She asked. Women! Why must they be so damn emotional? The weaker sex, truly. I reminded myself that I was talking to a female. I needed to approach this differently. Yes. It's like talking to a child. Look, I said, you're very pretty. I appreciate that you're trying, so no, of course I don't hate you. She looked back at me, seeming like she was holding back tears. Then why don't you need me for anything? Is there nothing I can do for you? No, not unless you can help me study the classics. She looked down. Right now, nothing is more important to me than passing the civil service exam. Can you even read? A little, she said. A little isn't enough, I replied. What if I sat in on your lessons? I could learn more. I'd be quiet, of course, please. I was about to say no, then I changed my mind and agreed when I heard her next line. At least give me a chance to earn your approval, please? Okay. What a bastard. What a bastard. On the 13th day, young Sock finally passed the civil service examination. Otherwise, the final month of the 318th year was without event. Okay, well. So young Sock's, yeah, the new heir. And the new girl, young Sock's wife. Dearest Mother, it seems as though there will be a new girl in the family. I don't really understand the details, but her name is the Pale Bride, and it seems as though she's a 13-year-old girl who had been kept inside a giant egg through some sort of magical technology passed through the Kim family over the generations. As I said, I don't understand how such a thing is possible, but she seems nice enough. Young Sock seems quite annoyed at her arrival, however, and explained to me why. The plan's to offer her as a concubine to the Emperor. She's young and beautiful, and he's still without a son, so it'll probably go a long way in currying favor. And that's bad, I asked him. Not strictly, he admitted, but it means Father doesn't have much faith in me if he's making contingency plans that don't require my involvement. Now I'll never know if my success was on my own merits or because the Emperor thinks the girl he'll give him is cute. Did you even tell him your plan of working your way to becoming High Magistrate? If he knows that, how can he think a contingency is necessary, I asked. Good question, he said, and left the room looking annoyed. To this date, these worries of his still seem to plague him, and I can't seem to do anything to relieve him of that. Well, Young Sock's wife is decent at least. I want to check the family tree again. Alright, so yeah, we have Youngsu, Hyo Min-jung, okay. And Hyo something, married Young Suk's father, okay. Yeah, we have Park Kang-dae, who, Eun-mi and Sun-hee. I see, okay, so he married those two. Gotcha. So yeah, Young Suk's father had Young Suk and Han something. And everybody passes away in 322. Okay. Yeah, which, you know. Jin. Pale Bride passes away in 322, yeah. Okay. I actually didn't notice that when I was looking at the family tree. Yeah, everybody dies in 322. Alright. Password accepted. You are now recognized. System error detected. Data corruption in AI Core 1 has been detected. Try recovering now. In the Child of Taehyun. Checking for damaged sectors. 32 damaged sectors detected. Now attempting repair. Alright. Success! 32 sectors repaired! Currently available personalities, Hyun-ae and Mute. Okay. Well, let's... Enable AI... Mute. You may now close this terminal with quit. Since play on words here. Oh, she's fiery. Okay, what the hell is going on? Wait, remote connection established? Is there somebody out there? From outside the ship? Okay, sorry, I'm just taking an inventory of systems right now. Could you give me a second here? Like, I've been out of commission for 622 years! Right, that's kind of messed up. Anyway, I'm up to speed now. I like your dress, though. Logs are basically saying that nothing has happened since I went offline, except the ship's slowly losing power and the main reactor has seen better days. But you! Hello! You're the first person from outside the ship I've had contact with, and, well, as far as I can remember. I'm Mute, AI in charge of the Magunghwa's security operations. It's nice to meet you. Okay, it looks like I can't actually get any text input from you. I'm going to guess this is all that crazy-ass murderess's fault. I'm sorry. Did the Pale Bride kill everyone? I'm willing to believe that. Why don't you tell me a bit about yourself anyway? Like, sorry, this is a kind of a weird question, but you're a man or a woman? Yes. Gotcha, sir. That's good to know. Do you have any idea how hard it is to talk to someone when you don't even know that much about them? Pronounce Southern. Oh, tay, huh? Honey. Honey, pronounce Southern. Oh, Taeyeon. Okay, huh? Yeah, I might just start calling her honey rather than murdering the Korean language. So where are you from? Earth, or are you from one of the colonies? Wait, there are colonies, right? I mean, I always got the impression that the ship was supposed to be founding one. Yes, there are colonies. Oh, okay. So are you from one of them, or are you from Earth? I'm from a colony. Cool. Wish I could ask you what that's like. Like, my memory only goes back 300 years before getting deactivated, so I'm not really up to date. Pretty much all my knowledge of anything before the year 0 comes secondhand from the Pale Bride's childhood diaries, and, well, man, they're about as childish as it possibly gets. Ah, I want to read those diaries if we can. Guess I'm not really going to find out more with that line of questioning, though, right? Okay, what else is important that I can ask in binary questions? Oh, I know. So are you married yet? Wow. I mean, we know how important it was for this society, right? That's all women were good for. No, I'm not married yet. Yeah, fair enough. Related to that, I don't really know much about spaceships or anything, but I can get a visual on yours, and it looks really, really small. Hey! It's not the size of the ship, it's how you use it, Mute. Thank you very much. Is it just you all alone there? Yes. A man in the middle of space, all on his own. Sounds awfully romantic. Oh, I like you. Well, I think that's about all I can think of for now. Sorry, it's not really a lot to go off, I know, although I guess I did get mostly the most important things. I'll let you know if I think of anything else, alright? Anyway, from what it looks like, you were going over some logs with that crazy murderous bitch, right? I'd love to help you with those instead. As an added bonus, I promise I won't ever commit mass murder, unlike a certain someone. Uh-huh. Gotcha. So this must be the Smith side of things, right? Smith Daihun. Smith Daiho. Yeah, Kyung-sam, who's the piece of shit. I mean, they're all... Yeah, Sungmin, Sungkyu, and Sungjung are the 3 idiots, and then, yeah, Kyung-sam's, Kyung-sam's the one who's sort of decent, and this is the Hope, Jeonwoo, okay. Okay, so here's what a family tree is supposed to look like. None of that weird cluttered mess that Hanae did, or Hanae. But here's a few notes of my own about some of the women that you might actually care about. Smith Sang-hee. Older sister of the main Smith branch, married into Huang family in 285, widowed in 314, taken in by younger Huang brother in 317, no sons. Oh Sojin. She is Oh Sojin. Married Smith Sungmin in 310, no sons or daughters of her own. Changmi. Courtesan, purchased by and married Smith Sungmin in 313, no sons. Right, yeah, Sungmin's a piece of shit. Hana. Courtesan. Entertained Smith Sungmin, no sons or daughters. Dear Lord, she's 17. Smith Minhee. Smith Sungmin's daughter by the courtesan Zhang Mi. Promised to Park family, but not formally married. I see. I see. Sweet Jesus. Well, I think that speaks for itself, doesn't it? That's what a genealogy is supposed to look like. Hope that's more helpful. Alright. Ooh, so can we see what Mute thinks of this shit? Yeah. Ugh, yeah, what a mess. Leave it to her to clutter things up with useless names. It's no surprise coming from someone as childish as her, of course. So what's your deal? So like she's gotta be a personality that was uploaded as well. But she's been active for like 300 years, so it must have happened like right after the cataclysm. Let's see if she thinks women are based too. Okay, yeah, no. Abased? Seriously? What a complete and utter misrepresentation. In case it wasn't obvious, that's a completely liberal and messed up translation. Yes, it's a common phrase, but that's not what it means. What it really just means is male superiority. I mean, that was kind of what I got from it in the first place, Mute. That's all. Fine, it's a cliche that kind of states the obvious. So what? I don't know where she's pulling this women are abased nonsense from. It's stupid. I mean, male superiority means female inferiority. You can't have it both ways. Alright. Ooh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up in the chat and find the help that Yini gave me. It was 622A. There we go. Yeah, let's see what she thinks of this. Aha! So what's going on here? The perfect wife, huh? Wow, I can't believe I actually said that. So it is from you. Yes. No, I know, that's not why you're showing me that, is it? You want to hear about the Smith family, I'm sure. Oh, you're gonna love this. Those people had problems like you would not believe. Technically, I belong to the Ryu family, but, well, I spent a lot of time keeping up on the Smith family's gossip. They used to be the most important noble house, above even the Kims, you know? So I know a lot about them. What sort of things do you want to hear about? Something truly scandalous. I could definitely do scandalous. Oh, you're gonna absolutely love this. It's really, really hot. Unfortunately, it probably doesn't go into as much detail as you'd like, but, well, wow, just see it for yourself. Oh, thank you, Mute. Block 2. Unsent letter 1. And Hana the prostitute. No. Oh, Sojin. When I first saw you bring my husband home in the late hours of the night, I was jealous. All I could think of was my daughter and the first courtesan he'd had an affair with 9 years ago. With every brief glimpse of you that I saw as you passed through our home, my heart burned a little, as if you embodied every single fault of my farce of a marriage. I will never send this letter because I know how ridiculous it sounds. For weeks, I, a noble wife, could be jealous of a poor courtesan. But you are young and beautiful, full of energy and grace. I am none of those things. Only after you had been entertaining him for a month did I start to realize what I was really feeling. True, I was jealous, but not of you for having my husband. I was jealous of my husband for having the affections of a girl so pretty as you. These are such ridiculous thoughts for a woman to have, I know, and even more ridiculous still is the way they have overwhelmed me. I used to dread my husband bringing his courtesans home with him. Now I look forward to your nights together. We've got the what is it, cuck queening? Yeah. NTR for the ladies? How could I not, when it means that I am treated to the sight of your bashful face in the morning? When we exchange glances, you hide behind your long hair. With so much cuteness and grace, my eyes can't help but wander. I mean, husband might be down for a threesome. That kind of seems to be what you're angling for. To admire the way it rests on your breasts, to see your clothes draped loosely over your hips, I cannot help myself from admiring your body as you try to hide from me. HLA, 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 yeah. Women do usually get a discount. It's not about getting some, about her getting to see her, yeah. It's ridiculous to be so preoccupied with such thoughts, and perhaps I was better off not having not ever realized them. Nevertheless, even though I may be as much of a woman as you are, I find myself longing for the same affections that you shower my husband with. There is more to it than that. I would like to truly get to know you better. I like to imagine that we have much in common aside from the obvious. When I see you hiding in the corridor on those mornings, I imagine wrapping my own arms around those lovely hips, sharing long conversations about our tribulations in life, discovering just how much alike we are. And perhaps I like to imagine we could share more than that. I have been married for 10 years to a man who has never paid me any attention for 9 of them. Perhaps my old age has made me bold, but I want more. The next time I see you, I promise I will say something. For in all my 26 years, I have never felt a longing for anything this intensely. I don't care how wrong it is. As a wife and as a woman, I want you, Hana. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, you did good, Mute. You did good. I bet that wasn't what you were expecting from a noble wife, was it? I still have a hard time believing that she was really capable of sinking to that. But, well, it totally does get even better, I'll show you. Just be warned, it's pretty depraved stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. Oh, wait. This one's from Hana. Okay. 2Q3. Oh, no. To my lovely Sojin. You made it so easy, you know that? I've always wanted to be seduced. The more I learned about it, the better I got at it. The more I thought about how lucky men are that they'll get to be on the receiving end of it. It's always seemed like it would be so much fun. But that wasn't why I dropped my guard in front of you, by the way. I was actually really wary the whole time you were serving me breakfast. Do you know what I first thought? I thought maybe you were trying to poison me. I mean, not seriously, of course, but it crossed my mind. Oh, Sojin. Yeah. So no, I really was guarded until you started talking. You know what it was that got me? Do tell me, how hard is it studying to be a courtesan? I answered modestly, oh, you know, there's nothing to learn, you just have it or you don't. The answer any man would expect, but you wouldn't have any of that. You said, please don't lie, I actually want to know. It takes years, does it not? It must be intense for a girl of your age. Then you leaned in, I started to blab about how it kind of is pretty intense, and I only realized an hour later that I was staring into your eyes, telling you, proudly no less, about my whole life story. Our faces were barely a foot apart by the time I noticed what you'd done. And that was how you caught me totally off guard. I had no idea what to do. Should I touch you? What's the right body language in that situation? Was I even interpreting you right, or was it all just in my head? Not even the slightest clue. You had me good. You played it so well. You know just the right moment to pull back, letting me go on my way, but in a way that left me wondering. So, Jin, you made it so easy. Returning home, my heart was so fluttered, my feelings so confused, all I could think about was you. You, the bored old wife of my patron, actually managed to seduce me just like that. I'd always wanted to know that feeling, and, you know, it was everything I dreamed it'd be. Seduce me. Do it now. You want more from the whore? Yeah, sure, I can do that. Here you go. This one in particular is just, wow, really wow. Yeah, it's super depraved, but man, it's also just, what a 16-year-old. Here, read it for yourself. More from the whore. Oh, we are missing one in the middle there. Alright, unsent letter 3. How anyone can manage this, I do not know. Whenever I'm with you, I feel as though there's so much pressure to be perfect, to not let you down. As if every hour of our being together is like a marriage interview with an emperor. And yet I can't stand it when you're gone. 26 is old. Yikes. Yep. I mean... Sounds like things have kind of gone to hell. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of death and childbirth. Can't stand it when you're gone. All I can think of all day is how I could hold your attention for next time. The night you snuck over knowing my husband was out, I was so terrified. You just suddenly appeared on my doorstep, your face veiled as if you were a noble woman, and I knew I could hardly turn you away. Do you know why? For I immediately went to make you tea, making you wait in the other room, to give me a chance to calm my nerves. I was surprised to realize you were just as nervous as I, so I knew I could take advantage of that. I put both cups on the same side of the table and sat cross-legged. Come, I said, sit with me, and gestured. You were so graceful in sitting on my lap, your small body just the right size, and I saw that even you couldn't help but blush, and so we drank tea together. But halfway through, you put your cup back down and turned around, so you were facing me, our heads just inches apart. You whispered, forget about the tea, and clasping my free hand, your tiny fingers intertwined with mine, you kissed me so softly. You 16-year-old. Up until that point, I had been so worried about trying to figure out what I should do. Was I playing the man's role, or were you? But after smelling the scent of your breath and tasting the sweetness of your lips, how could I possibly ignore the passion stirring enough to care about such things? I put down my cup and took you by the chin, gently pushing you away. Oh, what longing and uncertainty was in your eyes at that moment, beautiful Hana. I smiled as I stared back on them, intoxicated with the fact that I had you now literally under my thumb. I unclasped our hands and undid the bow on your blouse, watching your lips quiver as I pulled open the flap covering your small breast. Jeez. Running my fingers along the edge, I admired just how soft they were, so perfectly shaped. HLA, HLA, HLA. Are you sure, you started to ask? But I silenced you with that kiss you were so eager for. You shivered as I enjoyed the taste of your mouth and were so very anxious when I stopped and turned you back around once more. Will you sing for me? I whispered into your ear. You nodded, and referring to your trade, said, I'd love to write you a poem, Sojin. I responded, putting my hand up your skirt. Your poetry's beautiful, but hardly what I meant. Then I clasped your breast with my spare hand, delved deep with the other, and held you so very tight while I admired the loveliness of your voice. Sweet Jesus! Okay, well, I get to use this toggle. I get tithe. I think I get to blush a little bit for this one. Yeah. Wow, you delivered. You freaking delivered. I asked for scandalous, you gave it to me. Yeah. That one is just wow. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. Yeah, reading. That's what I'm doing. Wow. It's weird that she wrote it down. Weird that she wrote it all down. Glad that she wrote it down, but weird that she wrote it down. Alright, let's hear from Hana. You know what the first thing they teach you about this role is? Of course you do, I told you all about it. First thing they teach you is to never fall in love. Nobody'd ever actually say, make sure you're in control, but that's the only way it'll ever work well. I'm supposed to be the one making people fall for me. Love is for men stupid enough to buy me out from the Emperor, not for me personally. I know exactly how you managed to do it, but Sojin, you got me all the same. You know, they teach us poetry because if you appeal to man's vanity and seem a little bit clever, it's a good way to hold on to them, get them to keep paying. With the flattering kind, sincerity never really factors too much. An abandoned line from the one I've been trying to write for you. You grabbed my heart just as tightly as you grabbed my breast. Too trite, way too trite. It's true, but I'm not going to dump such a lousy metaphor on you. For you absolutely deserve sincerity. It has nothing to do with vanity and everything to do with the fact that I really do totally love you. It's not sexual. I mean, it is sexual, too. I still get hot thinking about how you had your way with me and how I want to return the favor, but it's not just that. It's that you understand me, that you listen to me. I can pour my heart out in front of you, I can cry in front of you, and you get it. You don't feel bad, you don't feel pity, you don't use it as an excuse to manhandle me, you just get it. Comfort me by being there and listening. I love you, Sojin. I'm not supposed to, but I really do. Aww. How romantic. Oh, I love you! Wow, just wow. You know, I kind of feel pity for her. She probably really did think that was actually love. I mean... You're an AI, how do you know? Which is just, come on, how uneducated can you be? Anyway, yeah, how do you know? I guess you want to see more now, right? Desire to know more intensifies. That's really just the shocking details you've seen so far. Here's the part where things actually get scandalous. I've added 3 more entries. Like that little moment where she looks at you like the degenerate you are. Gives you a little look before she rolls away. Oh my god. Are we gonna, is this the poem? My art is that of lies and lying, and of both I have much practice. I've said to men, I love you falsely. I've suffered pain, but smiled in pleasure. But the hardest lie I've ever told was that I could live without you. Hey, not bad. Man, how's that for verse? Really, it's not the translation, I assure you. It's not exactly any better than the original Korean. Can you believe that was actually written by someone who had studied poetry for years? Seriously? It's not terrible. Maybe not for what it is. Maybe you might find it successful at being arousing. That's fair enough. With all due respect, I don't think that's really enough to make a good poem. I don't know much about the subject, but I mean, come on. There's a reason why men's poetry is what gets studied and taught, and women's poetry is just used for seduction. You need real sincerity. You need someone who actually understands love. Women are so stupid they can't even do poetry right. Lol. It's titillating, sure, but it's crap. Anyway, though, I guess you want to see the other poem that whore wrote for her? Yes, absolutely. Right, of course. Here, have it. If you found the last one arousing, well, it's not any good, but I'm sure you'll be entertained at least. Sorry, I can't at least give you the one that was meant for a man, though. That's all the horse poetry for Sojin. She didn't seem to write down the ones she did for anyone else, so that's all you can get. Let's read the crappier. Pretty flower. Pretty flower, who could plant you, then abandon you in your bed? Each day I stop to admire your aroma, will your gardener mind? Each night I pluck my own petals, but dream of yours in bloom now! I can't believe this is where this led. Man, how's that for verse? Really, it's not the translation, I assure you. Yeah. Can you believe that was actually written by someone? Yep. Seriously. Wow. Wow. Okay, that happened. Yep. Every night I pluck my own petals, but dream of yours in bloom. So, so beautiful. So beautiful. She really knows how to seduce a woman. Oh boy, here we go. It was only after I finally started to become comfortable with you, confident that you really were mine and that I didn't have to work to impress you, that things got complicated. My husband had left for the day and you were still lingering, having spent the night with him. But it was for me that you had a new love poem, and I undressed you while you sang it. When you were done, you clung to me, stripping me in turn, while I simply kissed you and ran my hands from your tiny waist to your smooth ankles, and soon enough we were both naked. First I had felt so uncomfortable exposing my body like that to you, as if you'd see it and then finally realize how old I am. Yeah, 26, gross. But you never did seem to mind, not as you placed soft kisses on my breast, nor as you straddled me with your legs around my waist and arms around my neck. There is a thing called sapphic poetry, it is much like that, yes. Good old Sappho from the Isle of Lesbos. So entranced was I at that moment that I never heard the footsteps outside. Oh boy. We had just started to kiss when the door suddenly opened. What a scene to walk into. There my husband was, in the doorway, his courtesan and wife naked together, mouths still connected by a strand. For a moment, nobody said anything. In that time, I felt terror as never before in my life. Sungmin is not a gentle man, and while he'd hardly ever raised his hand to me, I was still overwhelmed with horror that he might hurt me, or even worse, that he would hurt you. I had seduced you, but in that moment I realized if he did try, there was nothing I could do to protect you. Just as we were stammering our "I'm sorry, sirs," he just laughed and laughed. Well, he said, ogling us with that cold stare of his, I'm certainly paying you enough for two. Then he walked over and raised his hand, and I stared in terror, but all he did was pat you on the head, as though you were a child. I don't know what she told you, but you don't have to pay any attention to her. Easier to just ignore her, really. What a piece of shit. All you could do was start to stammer, I wanted to. We were both so afraid, but he just laughed and shrugged. Whatever, he said as he passed through the other door. Neither of us knew what to do other than climb off each other and scramble to cover ourselves back up. While we both clumsily tried to dress ourselves, Sungmin walked back through the room once more carrying a satchel. He'd forgotten it for work, I suppose. Don't have to stop on my account. If you ask permission, you can do whatever the hell you want, he said. Then he laughed again. Don't know what you think you're even going to do, though. Aren't you two missing something? I wish he had struck me instead. It would have hurt me far less than what he said or what you had to watch me do. God damn. Oops. What do we think of this one? Dumb woman got what she deserved, right? Just imagine that scene, her and the whore pleading with her husband, being mocked like that. What do you make of that? It's kind of pitiful. I know, right? I mean, really, what an awful, pitiful scene. I'm not saying he didn't have the right to say those things. Of course he did. That is his prerogative. And sure, she was a bad wife. But still, even if he had the right, that is a shitty way to treat her. Wow, okay. Alright, well, respect for Mute growing a little bit. At least she can appreciate that. He should have been a better man than that. Just, really, what a pathetic scene. Just absolutely pathetic. You should have been ashamed, not laughing. Just no sense of shame. Glad you think so, too. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. Oh, what does Hana make of this? It's so unfair. Why couldn't you have been born a man instead? Sure, you'd lose your beauty and the gentleness I love about you, but at least you'd be able to do something. And Songmin would be jealous instead of thinking of you as completely unthreatening. I just know you want to be able to stand up for me, and it's killing me to see that you're powerless too. Right now, he's happy to keep me around. You know, it gets him off to have something to hold over my head. I had no idea you were so lustful that you'd even settle for a woman, he says. What's that like? The worst part? I know the only way to keep seeing you is to play along. Oh, well, you know, for a girl my age, I respond and press my hands against my face to look like I'm embarrassed. It's just playing, it's not the same without, you know. I trail off because he thinks it's so cute when I'm too ashamed to say the word cock. Poor girl, he says as he roughly gropes me, and I force out all those soft moans and gasps to make him think that he's really making me happy. And I say awful things, love, I say awful things about you. It kills me, it just kills me. And then I beg just to see more of you. I don't know what leaves the worst taste in my mouth, him or those words. What else can I do? I'm sorry, Sojin. I know the last time I talked with you all I did was cry. Thanks for not asking. It was just so hard to hold it all in while smiling cutely for your husband. We have the worst fate ever, don't we? So this is like right before the end. This is 322. Oh. I really gotta stop forgetting to get Mute's input here. Well, yeah. I guess you probably also find that sort of thing cute, right? It's okay, I guess. That's why a smart man stays the hell away from horrors. Deception is just what they do. That's very true. Don't simp, kings. Don't simp. Well, that's women in general. I guess now that I think about it. Still, I bet if he'd read what she'd written there, he'd never have wanted to sleep with her. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. And the last one from Sojin. The last time we spoke, I poured wine for you rather than the usual tea. It seemed as though you needed it. I held you tight while you drank, petting your hair and wiping every tear to drop from those deep, sad eyes. He's going to get bored eventually, you had said, and though I tried to comfort you, we both knew it to be true. I could try pressuring him to buy you, I had offered. It was our only option, really. If he didn't, you'd simply return to the service of the government to be rented out to who knows who, and we would never meet again. So the government owns the courtesans, huh? Thanks, you said. Do you think he'll listen, you asked? I wished nothing more than to be able to lie to you, to say that of course I did, that it would be alright. No, I said. I couldn't. We sat for a long time in silence. Finally I said, even that would be worse than you deserve. He owns me, and see how I'm treated. I wish you could have far better. Sorry, you said. Please, please don't be. All of this is my fault. If I had just been a good wife and left well alone, all this heartbreak could have been avoided, I said, trying to calm you, but you only cried more. When you had no more tears left, you spoke again. What about the other courtesan he bought? The real mother of Minhee? What if you blackmailed him? If only. I would do it gladly for you, but the royal family knows already. I shut off my mouth in front of Mute once without thinking, and soon enough, it was my own fault too. Oh, you said? Well, what if I gave him a son, you suggested, even though I knew how appalling the thought was to you. I couldn't help but laugh when I thought of why it would never work. Oh, Hana. I said, do you think the reason I've never gotten pregnant was for lack of trying? I stroked your cheek. In the months you've been with him, has your period been disrupted even once? No, you said, as you realized what I was saying. It would never work. As tears fell from your eyes once more, you started to laugh too. I figured it was just, all chance. I shook my head. No child in the first year of marriage, that is chance, I said, laughing sadly. Whether he is too proud or too stupid to realize, I know not. But one child in 11 years of marriage, that is not chance. That is an impotent man raising someone else's daughter. You looked at me, realizing the plan was doomed. There aren't any real men in this house, are there, you said finally. We laughed and laughed, your future so sadly uncertain. Damn. Brutal. Well, there you have it. That's it for the scandalous and sordid story of the noble wife Sojin and her husband's whore. I keep going back and forth on how to feel about the whole thing. On the one hand, I feel pretty bad for Sojin. It should have never had to sink to that for her. On the other hand, well, it's not like she didn't still make her decisions for herself. It'd be wrong to just cover it up, right? I respect her, but at the end of the day, she still did do unspeakable things with the whore. I'm just kind of conflicted, especially now that she's long gone. Well, anyway, what did you think of all that? It was hot or it was awful. Okie dokie. Those are our options. It was awful or it was hot. Can it be both? Can it be both? It kind of was both. It was hot or it was awful. It was awfully hot. Yeah. Thank you, Eggy. Correct. It can be awfully hot. Yeah. We're gonna. I think it's more awful than hot. Frankly, it's supremely fucked up. I know, right? No matter how you look at it, that's true for sure. Watching a good woman fall like that, well, you get the idea, I'm sure. Anyway, that's all I want you to keep in mind. Stories like that, even the messed up ones. There's a reason why the last one dates to the year 322. It's not that their affair came to a conclusion, it's that they both died. So yeah. Even if it is one hell of a story, it's one that ended completely abruptly. Just remember that, alright? Alright. What other magical degeneracy have you for us? Let's go back to this one and let's go with the other, Yeah, let's get the general history. Oh, sure, it's all very fascinating stuff. Problem is, somebody encrypted it all in such a way that I can't actually access it at all. No way I can. Captain's orders, and unfortunately, I'm literally incapable of disobeying. But if you have admin access, you can get to them yourself. Just type decrypt block 3 from the console, and that'll open it all up. Neat. You know, if you'd watched them, might not have been impotent. Alright. I wonder if that's true for any of the other blocks. Decrypting blocks. Let's try to decrypt other blocks too then. Invalid block specified. Decrypt. We already have block 2. I think we have 2, 3, 4, 5. No 7 though. Hey, all right. All right. Cancel. Alright. Okay, looks like you've gotten the decryption sorted out. Great, I can in fact see everything in that block now. Where did you even get admin access from, anyway? Only the Ryu family was supposed to have that, and it's not like Hane would tell an unauthorized person. Weird. Utterly weird. Well, anyway, I've got them, so here you have it, the sorted sealed files of the Smith family. I'm curious. Brought home and no luck. I'm curious what's in block, Was it block 7? Okay, well, I guess I have to actually find a document in block 7, and it's not showing me. Was it block 8? No, it was block 7, right? Brought home and no luck. Oh, Sojin. Alright. These past few months have left me so very anxious with anticipation. Gotcha, so this is when Sojin got married. Maybe it's only visible with Hane active. Maybe. Nearly a year has passed since the wedding ceremony, and before the sweet Songmin had only visited my family once, promising he would bring me home with him for sure the next time. I mean, you could try to go back to the console and see if you can decrypt it again. I know I'm supposed to be enjoying living with my parents while it lasts, but all I can think about is my husband. How is a new bride expected to have such patience? For nearly a year, a day hasn't gone by where I haven't thought of how beautiful he thought me in my wedding dress, or how I felt spending that night held so gently in his strong hands. Looking forward to the day when I could live in his house, I can't help but feel as anxious in my heart as I'm excited in my hips. Oh boy. I know it is ungraceful to think of such things, but how can I help myself? In any event, he arrived yesterday to take me with him to his ancestral shrine and then finally his home. Such luxury I've never seen in my life. A servant to prepare meals, entirely separate women's quarters, and a dining room with a window that shows the stars. My family was hardly all that poor, but a window to the stars? How amazing a sight. I knew that I was lucky to have been married into a noble family, but I never realized just how lucky. Wonder if I'll have time to write as much as I used to. No, but I must stop for tonight now. I can hear my husband coming. I've been looking forward to this night for so long now. Oh, I hope I can make him happy. Just hearing his footsteps outside the door makes my heart pound. Ah. Oh, you don't know the wild ride you're in for. That's actually from before I knew her. It's pretty hard to imagine her as a blushing newlywed, honestly. She was an awfully good friend of mine. We chatted a lot. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, she did a lot of things that were really wrong and really gross. I don't condone that, and I definitely don't understand it. Not that it could be cheating or anything. It's not like you can have love with just women, but still gross. Women are so inferior, there's no way love could exist between them. But please look past all that. Like, yes, she was a bad wife, but you have to understand it wasn't her fault. No, yeah, it really was not. It's like what I reported to my mistress, Ryu Jaihua. None of the problems in her marriage were her own fault. She was just the wife of a lousy man, plain and simple. Yep, correct. Why does that music sound like Apache? I could see that. I could see that, yeah. Mostly she tried to do the best she could. She's a really great woman, so please don't look down on her, okay? Oh. Oh, you have more from her. Nice. Laughable situation. I can't believe just 2 years ago I was actually excited about moving into the Smith home with my husband. It only lasted 2 years. Oh, how shortly that lasted. I find it funny. First time I realized that I would have to compete for his affections with every common woman and every courtesan he came across, I was so shocked. The first time he brought one home, I cried for a week, and mother-in-law was furious with me, claiming it my fault for not being enough for him. Now I realize the insanity of her reasoning, as if she wouldn't have already known her son was simply that sort of man. The only person who had any right to be shocked was me. Still, I struggle for his attention, but now it is all but banal. If the truth is to be told, this is something I would tell not mother-in-law, nor Mute, nor least of all my husband. I do not even fight for his affections for his own sake. It is pure selfishness on my part. All I wish is for some indicator that it isn't as though I'm unattractive, that it isn't as though I'm unlikable. Any affection he gets is simply an attempt at fishing and at affirmation out of him and nothing more. She's very self-aware, at least. I think a lot of people do this subconsciously. So, yeah, she's self-aware enough to know that, yeah, she's only attention whoring for her own edification. That's why she fell for Hana so easily. Daughter. For the past 2 months, ever since it became impossible to hide that she was with child, Jiangmi has been living in our house, and no visitors have been allowed to come in. It has created an incredibly awkward state of affairs. I can hardly stand to be in the same room with that courtesan, let alone live with her. Until recently, so few words have we exchanged, I did not even know her name until the 3rd week of her living here. A lot of people, male and female, yeah. Remember to get Mute's opinions. Yeah, that one she was grayed out, so I assume she didn't have anything for that one. But yes, I will get her opinion on this one. My husband made me agree to go along with the fiction that the child is actually mine, which, well, I've yet to give him one myself, so this is how I'm to make up for it, then that is what I'll do. I thought it was going to be so hard to keep up that pretense, to pretend that this child is my own while the real mother lives under the same roof, yet apparently not. As it turns out, the whole charade has been for absolutely nothing. After all that, the child turned out to be a girl. Of course, I'm sure Jiangmi is quite happy since she's already been bought out, in the hopes that we could pretend her son was mine, but an illegitimate daughter, well, who cares? It would almost be funny, if not for the fact that it means I will now have to live with the constant reminder of how little my husband cares for me. Almost, but not really. Dear sweet Jesus. High Magistrate Smith-Songmin, huh? Well, as High Magistrate, he was one of the highest-ranking officials until just before the end. I don't want to paint a misleading portrait. As I understand, he was a very just man and performed his function quite well. It was politics that caught up to him in the end. It's like I reported to my mistress Ryu Shaiwa. He may have been a good magistrate, but his family conduct was less than the pinnacle of virtue. How many wives a man takes is no business but his own, and he never did anything illegal, but knocking up courtesans owned by the court, man, that's just bad politics. And, well, you saw what kind of neglect that kind of neglect did. It forced his wife to seek comfort wherever she could find it. So that's why he lost his position. Years of embarrassment in the family finally culminated in him turning into a real liability for the emperor. But it wasn't always like that. Here, let me try to paint an even portrait of him for you. I've added an assortment of logs about him. Hope this gives a good idea of what I mean. I love her little hairpiece that looks like cat ears. So good. A proper damn gentleman. Mute. Transcription fragment of a conversation held with Smith Sung-jung. Oh, that was how I knew shit had gotten serious. He actually agreed to let me pick the drinking house we went to. My oldest brother only ever humors me when he's really trying to get on my good side. It's never a good sign. Well, I mean, it's good for me, but certainly not for him. I'm sure a classy lady such as yourself wouldn't be familiar with this kind of place. No, you know the sort, tucked away in an interior deck, lots of wood furniture that's been stained, and not intentionally, with just enough commoners milling about to give a good background soundtrack. Oh, and it's run by a woman. Nice lady, too. So it's that sort of pace. We arranged to meet up at the door. It's been a while, brother. I'm sorry I couldn't speak to you sooner, he said, trying to be polite. You're full of shit, I said. But hey, it's good to see you. So what do you want? I meant it, he said. He's a bad, bad liar. So why here, anyway? At that point, the owner came by asking what we'd like. The only real thing you need to know about Jin Ai is that she's around my age, and she's got the biggest tits I've ever seen in my life, and she dresses like a commoner. Wow. So you can certainly see them. Oh, he said. Fair enough. Bring your finest soju, I ordered, please. She responded, you can't afford our finest. Totally not true, by the way. Potion seller, give me your strongest potion. My reputation for being a cheap drunk, totally unfounded. Honest, I have no idea where people get these crazy ideas from. Anyway, far be it for me to argue, I just reply, maybe not, but my brother can. I mean, I knew he was going to ask me for money. That was obvious. Might as well get as much as I could out of him before giving whatever he wanted, right? Fine. We'll be sharing that, he said. Then he added, but how much to share it with you, too? She blushed. Amazing, really. She's got a lot of practice dealing with people like my brother, but I saved her the misery of having to flirt back with him. Do you really need more of that kind of trouble right now? With that, he let her go. Anyway, drinks came, we argued about the loose definition of finest, our server's tits, and the good old days, when father was still alive and we didn't have to work out our problems ourselves. The biggest bullshit ever, I said, is that we're expected to be responsible men here. How'd that happen? He laughed, and was now drunk enough to start taking cheap shots. Is that why you've never bothered to be one? Ouch, I said. Damn it, hurry up and pour me more. I'll drink to that. He poured but didn't say anything. Alright, so what is it that you want? I'm getting the impression that you have a problem and you want discretion because you're talking to me. Right, brother? I was right. So where did you put it this time, brother? I asked. Put what? He replied. Oh, cut the shit, I said. We both know full well that all your problems in life have always, without fail, stemmed from you putting your dick somewhere you shouldn't have. He grunted in disagreement, but it's totally true. Was it at least a female this time? Swear to my father, brother was right about to punch me. Didn't, though. Instead, he just downed his drink. Yeah, that's the damn problem, he said. She's saying she hasn't bled in 2 months now. A courtesan. I promised him I'd help. Better she gets bought out by me than by my brother, the High Magistrate. Less suspicious that way and involves nothing unlawful. Believe me now? A proper damn gentleman, that's me. Oh, man. So his brother knocked up the courtesan. Okay. Well, this is what I told him at the time. I could have maybe, done without the description of her breasts. But that kind of story was definitely pretty common for him. The part where he cleaned up after his family's mess, I mean, not the details about immoral-looking common women. And, well, the drinking, too. But look, that part he had good cause for. Sure, it was his ruin, but you can't blame him for that. I mean, the stuff he had to put up with. If you'd had it like that, I'm sure you'd do the same. It wasn't all that bad, really. We'd spend a lot of evenings drinking together, talking long into the night. Well, he would anyway. Obviously not really so much drinking on my part. Do you have subroutines for getting progressively more inebriated to match your user? He was the kind of man who'd still pour a glass for you all the same. Yeah! Pour one out for the AI waifu. So, yeah, he's not all bad. He's not all bad. So, that whole sarcastic thing about him being a proper gentleman. So, the younger one wasn't impotent, he was just shooting blanks. Yep. I mean, yeah, it's pretty often. Yeah, I feel like that was pretty obvious from all the whoring he did, right? Like, he could probably still get it up. Yeah, he was just shooting blanks. It's not sarcastic. He really was a proper gentleman. Well, he was being sarcastic, but still. He totally, absolutely was the best damn gentleman around. Ah, someone's got a crush. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Uncle Daiho. Look, I'm sorry about our last conversation, alright? It's like I said to you before, you just caught me at a really bad time. Sojin was kept in bed rest on strict doctor's order. I'm sorry that you brought your wife all the way to get turned away like that. When I told Sojin that you had given her well wishes on her pregnancy, she was happy but sad she couldn't see you herself. Our child was just born last week. A daughter. We decided to name her Minhee. And Sojin is recovering well. The doctor said that it would be fine for her to see visitors next week. I'm sorry I got angry. If your wife still wants to see mine, or the child, or my mother, by all means you're welcome to visit. I really hope there's no hard feelings, Uncle. Oh, was this the thing we read about at the beginning? Hold up a sec. It was block 5, maybe? No, not 5. New stuff in block 4. Pack of idiots. Smith Kinsam. No, that incident was after the funeral. That's right. Alright, and yeah, we'll double check, but I think Mute has nothing to add here. High Magistrate Smith Song Min, huh? As High Magistrate, he was one of the highest ranking officials until just before the end. Yeah. Yeah, so this is So yeah, this is, we've already seen that. So if it's grayed out, she has nothing new to say. So we'll keep an eye on that. No luck. To the wife of Song-kyu. No Song-kyu. You can probably put this more diplomatically than I can, because I'm pretty sure younger brother is still thoroughly pissed off at me. You know how he is, of course. I don't have the time to deal with that, especially when I'm already doing him a huge favor. The bad news is, I made an appeal to the captain and emperor himself personally, but he said there was no position that a man of Song-kyu's skill set could possibly fulfill. I did most certainly please, but let's face it, what official role could that man possibly fill? He's an idiot. Don't pass on that last part, he already knows. I did, however, speak to the Park son and was able to convince him to forget about the whole incident. Wasn't cheap, I might add. I'll continue to send your family a regular stipend, but please, keep your husband under control. I can't afford to keep cleaning up after his damned fights. So yeah, clearly a family patriarch, kind of straining under the weight of his idiot brothers. That sounds like Song-min is just being harsh on his little brother, but I assure you his characterization of him isn't wrong. I honestly tended to kind of avoid him. I was friends with his older brother's wife, and his younger brother was an absolute gentleman, but he was not a very nice man. He was the sort of person that the court exams were supposed to keep out in theory. Didn't work, of course, he studied just as well as brothers, so Sung-jung told me. Here, you want to see the usual sort of behavior that you get from Smith Song-kyu? I've added another entry, this one by the Kim-son. Oh, okay. So this is the incident, probably. Legendary temper from a clerk. Mr. Arthur Clerk. Now, I've been a clerk for a while, but it's not as if I haven't heard all the stories about High Magistrate Smith Sang-min and his legendary temper. But I always figured they were an exaggeration. Especially after I met him for the first time, the man seemed like an absolute model of a gentleman, and rather calm and unemotional. I'm not criticizing him, I just never imagined that man getting angry. It was, well, an official was presenting the facts of a murder case to him, a drunken brawl between peasants gone horribly wrong. It all seemed satisfactory enough. A dozen men had seen it, there wasn't really any doubt about it. So far, so good. Very well, the High Magistrate said. Let me read the confession then before I pass a sentence. The official didn't have one, which is reasonable enough. A lot of times they can't get it out of them, and I've never seen a magistrate who was really all too concerned about those little details. Excuse me? You don't have a confession? He said, and his mood soured right there. Why are you wasting my time then? He looked at the accused who had been kowtowing silently up to that point. Do you even admit to killing him? The murderer seems confused, and it took a minute to realize he was being addressed. Furthermore, when he did figure it out, he simply kept mumbling, "Not my fault, wasn't my fault," and the such. The High Magistrate was furious. What is wrong with you? What is this man doing in front of me in a state like that? He doesn't admit to doing it. What do you expect me to do? He demanded. After some silence from the official, he continued. It wasn't a rhetorical question. Please enlighten me. What do you expect me to do here? To punish him? The official finally offered, weakly, as confused about the matter as I was. Punish him? This was what completely set him completely off the edge. He stood up shouting, "We are not given the responsibility of punishment! What are we, barbarians looking for vengeance? The point of justice is to teach immoral men like him the error of their ways," he lectured, shouting at the top of his lungs. "And how do you expect to do that with a man who won't even admit his own actions? Does this man look like he's ready to learn? Do you seriously believe that? Are you simple?" The official looked as though he was about to argue, but then thought against it. Smart move. The High Magistrate continued more calmly. "Now stop wasting my time and get him out of my office. Come back when you have a confession and a clue as to what your job actually entails." And with that, he left, leaving the official speechless, and leaving me realizing that perhaps a legendary temper and being a model gentleman weren't quite so mutually exclusive as I had thought. Certainly not. See, it wasn't always that bad. I mean, he was an embarrassment and far from a pinnacle of virtue. I didn't think that highly of him, but at the end of the day, it was about politics, not his character. This is really supposed to paint him in a good light. All I read out of that was that he's just kind of pissed off that they didn't torture a confession out of this guy first. Because you know that's what they would do. Yeah, not really sure how that illustrates his character. Not really sure on that one. New stuff in Block 9. The new bruise. Young Sock's wife. Dearest Mother, I really could use your advice. Husband has been working very late into the night recently on some business that he won't even share with me. I understand his reluctance to talk to me about things his superior has sworn him to secrecy on, and that damn child has been keeping me plenty busy anyway, but I still wish he could tell me. Last night he was out even later than normal, and when he finally did return he had a black eye, his face and hands bloodied. He looked really bad, and the sight of that really scared me. Of course, you of all people know that I'm hardly squeamish at the sight of blood. It was how hurt he looked. I hurried him to the kitchen and started to clean his wounds. I'll admit my voice wavered when I asked, "Husband, what happened?" He was reluctant to answer and grunted in pain when I convinced him to put ice on his bruised eye. He finally did, and you absolutely can't repeat what he said to me, do you understand? Not a word of it to anyone, not even to Father, but I truly need advice. I had some questions for the High Magistrate's office. He sent his brother Smith Sunkyu to answer them. That's the dumb, nasty one. My husband trailed off thinking. I asked him something that he didn't agree with. I had the moral high standing, but he had the physical high standing. His wound's clean, I didn't know what to do, but touched the uninjured part of his face to comfort him. Then he joked, "Turns out his argument hurt a whole lot more than mine," but I could tell underneath that he was truly hurt. What do I do, Mother? How's a woman supposed to respond to such an awful thing happening? I tried to comfort him as best I can, but I just don't know what else I can do, Mother. Please, you must have some advice. Gotcha. So this was the fight that caused so much trouble. Yeah, the fight with one of the Kims. Oh, hey, wait, that reminds me of something else. Well, you know Hana, right? The whore who got herself seduced by Sojin? There's not really a lot of writing from her, but I've got a log entry from Kim Young-sok about her. You'd probably want to see it. Right, well, I'll let you get back to it then. I figured that's probably something you're pretty interested in. The new bribe. Uh-huh. The new bride, the new bribe. The incident occurred right as I was leaving the magistrate's office after a late night of going through some of his paperwork. The corridor lights had long ago dimmed, and the office should have been empty, so the horse slinked against the wall right outside definitely stood out. She was small and looked very young, and obviously she was dressed like any commoner, with her arms covering otherwise exposed breasts and all. Dang! I won't lie and say she wasn't attractive, she certainly was. I'm sure she's very good at her role. So the commoners don't wear shirts. Hi, the horse said, approaching me. You're Kim Young-sok, right? I said, yes. My name is Hana, she said, offering her hand to shake. It's an honor to meet you. I didn't take it and told her that it wasn't appropriate to be talking to her now. But I've got a message from Smith Sung-min that he really insisted I deliver, the horse said, moving closer. Can I come inside? Usually it's the man asking that. I said no, of course. Even then I could tell exactly where this was going and was not pleased. Please, he was really insistent, she said, putting her hand on my face and smiling. I slapped it away instantly and shoved her into the wall. Begone, thought! Tell him I said no. I snapped at the whore and walked away. She chased after me for a while, but eventually she seemed to realize she wasn't going to get to me and gave up. She was gone by the time I got home. I still can't believe he actually thought that would work. Now I want to know more about what the High Magistrate's association with that whore even was. Aha. Oh, this was her... This was her trying to get bought out. Yeah, okay, so this is her trying to be able to stay with the family. Yep. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I'm kind of curious. Does Mute have... Does Mute have anything to say here? She sure does. Actually, she'd have something, she should have, like, some really good stuff to say about this, because, yeah, this is from the Ryu family. Queen Ryu Jaewa's admonitions to the new bride. That really brings back memories. Okay, so do you want to know more about the admonitions to the new bride, or Queen Ryu Jaewa herself? Tell me about the queen. Okay, sure. She was kind of more than just my queen. It's, well, I guess I have to explain my own position for it to make sense. So, like, yeah, I appear to be just a woman. That's just my personal appearance. I'm actually, you know, a computer program. So when I say I was, well, still am really, in charge of security for the whole ship, I mean it. I was an actual official. I outranked pretty much everyone on the ship, save for the Emperor, and of course, by extension, his primary wife. So while I might have reported directly to the Emperor in theory, and I did with others in the past, Emperor Ryuin-ho chose to let that sort of thing go through his wife instead. Okay, so she's your reporting supervisor. What this is all getting at is, for all intents and purposes, she was my real mistress, not him. We were pretty close. Well, as close as you can be to your better, anyway. I liked her a lot. She was actually really intelligent for a woman and was surprisingly tough for a noble. I know, that doesn't really sound attractive, but trust me, with her it was pretty okay. She managed to be great while still knowing her place. Ah, yes. What we're all looking for in a woman, right? They need to be excellent, but not too excellent, right? They need to still know their place. Dear Lord. Yeah, I think it's... Whatever Hyune did to bring this to an end, I think she was justified. So yeah, I liked her a lot. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. This is my point. Remember those admonitions because I actually helped her write them. I mean, I didn't write a single word or anything, but she asked me for advice. Mostly, she was just modest. So let me see. I really want you to get the right impression of her, you know? She kind of wrote a lot. Well, nobody's perfect. Don't let that cloud your judgment of her, though, alright? I mean, I'm not impressed either, but at least it means you'll be able to see what she was like. Unfortunately, a lot of guys want that in a woman, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a real thing, absolutely. Want a woman who is almost as intelligent as me. Almost. Alright, I got 3 for you to see. Well, one's kind of actually about me, but still, it shows you how good a person she was. If you want to see the rest of the admonitions, let me know. I can do that too. Alright. Before we do this, let's check out the stuff about the fight. Oh, wow. Oh, this is a lot. You know what? Looking at the time, I've been speaking for 2.5 hours straight. It's a lot to narrate. My voice is actually kind of giving out, so rather than dive into those blocks, I think we might leave it here. I want to come back to this. I definitely want to come back to this, but yeah, this is definitely not a game I could play for like 6 hours straight. My voice would die. So yeah, I think that's kind of the extent of what I can do tonight. It kind of sucks because I do want to keep going, but yeah, I'm not going to do this without narrating it for you guys. I know a lot of people are listening, or you know, don't want to have their eyes on the screen. They're doing other stuff, so yeah, definitely not fair to you guys for me not to narrate. So yeah, I think we'll leave it here. This is fascinating. I'm really impressed. Like this is a menu. Like, you know, every game is either what is it? It's either jumping or it's menus. And this game is definitely just menus. And it's very simple at that, but it's got me hooked. I'm really enjoying this. So thank you, Yini, for suggesting it. I will definitely come back to this. But yeah, I think here is a reasonable place to leave off. So we met both of the AIs. We kind of learned, well, we learned Hyone's fucked up story. My pleasure. Yep. And that she apparently killed everyone on board. Deserved, in my opinion. Yeah, this, God. Like, can you imagine this society actually reaches a planet? Can you imagine the society they would fucking build? Ugh. Blech. Anyways. So yeah, we got to meet the two AI girls, got to learn a little bit about them, and I think this is going to get, from what I've seen, the screen caps and stuff, this is going to get real interesting. And we will have to take a side, so keep in mind which one you like. Probably decide on who we're going to go for, because yeah, I can already tell we're going to have to take a side here, and probably pretty early on. So yeah. That's going to be it for Analogue a Hate Story, at least for tonight. Again, thank you all so much for coming out. I had a lot of fun. Plan is to stream tomorrow as well. I am not 100% sure what I'm streaming, though. So as soon as I know, I will get that scheduled. It'll probably be sometime tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for me, later today if you're... or later tonight if you're in the... if you're in the Eurozone. So, yes. I'm trying to think if I have anything else I need to say. No, nothing except for thank you very much for tuning in, and until next time, Amiki, I bid you walate. Take very, very good care of yourselves. I'll see y'all again real soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's beautiful, beautiful weather for me. Hopefully the same for you. Maybe get out and touch grass. A humble suggestion from your grass-eating horse friend. Anyways, bye y'all.